Welcome to the Postmodern Art Podcast, a podcast dedicated to gaming artists who are wilding the world over the platform they deserve. I am your host, Aiden Ragland, and for today's episode, I'm willing to bet that you're going to absolutely love the conversation I have with today's guest. Don't believe me? Well then,
let's go gambling!
Today's guest is raxdflipnote, an animator whose flipnote animations has been entertaining the masses with burgers, trolleys, gambling, and more. I mean, to say that raxd has had an impact on me, at least from an entertainment standpoint, is a bit of an understatement. I cannot get enough of this guy's videos. So I was so glad that whenever I reached out, he got back to me, and we were able to have this amazing conversation that I know you guys are going to absolutely love. If you enjoy our guest, please make sure you support him with the links down in the description below. If you enjoy the podcast, make sure you like, share, subscribe, or follow whatever audio streaming platform you prefer. Leave 5 stars wherever you can. You know, I see that stuff, and you know it genuinely warms my heart. Speaking of subscribe, I highly recommend you hit that subscribe button if this is your first time here. We are currently on the hunt to get 2,500 subs by the end of 2024. If I hit that goal, I will get my first tattoo as designed and decided by you, the community. So if you want to be a part of that decision, go ahead and subscribe today. And look, if you want to go a little further with that support, may I recommend you check out the merch shop at fourthwall.com with that link in the description below. We have some fantastic merch that's done by some amazing artists, including the brand new official logo merch designed by Roshan Galaxy. If you want to look snazzy and some streetwear, then I highly recommend you check out that merch shop today. But now, without further ado, please enjoy the Postmodern Art Podcast. Trying to get all my bearings in place because I have had a very interesting week. Plus, I just released the newest teaser that I have for today for the Halloween episode on Thursday, where I brought on Maxwell Adams, aka the creator of The Group Adventures of Billy and Mandy. So that's gonna be exciting.
Okay. Dude, I looked through the podcast channel a little bit. You've gotten some impressive guests. I know Alex Rachon, somebody I know you had him on, and somebody told me they actually convinced me to do a digital circus related flipnote because they were like, hey, this guy's like known to be really easy to work with other people, so you should just ask him. I'm like, he's probably not gonna care. And then like 6 minutes later, he's like, yeah, I'll do it. And I'm like, oh, okay. That's nice. That's convenient.
That is really cool because I was gonna ask about that because obviously, like I was able to get him on. So yeah.
I feel like I could have done a lot more collabs with other people, but I'm just like afraid to ask people about it. Usually, it's like I'm the one that gets asked.
You know what? I completely get that, and as someone that has to constantly ask people to collab with on their platform or whatnot, I get that, like, I guess stress in the back of the head of like, oh god, what do they even think of me? Like, are they even gonna want to do anything like that? Because like what I got to offer, what they're doing, like there's no way or whatnot, you know?
Yeah.
I was gonna say oh sorry, go on.
I say you just gotta ask people, man, because like I'm gonna be honest, I've gotten a lot of podcast requests.
Really?
Like, okay, not a ton, but probably in the last like over the summer, like 10 or 12. And I've just been like, I've been working on projects and stuff, but like out of nowhere, I just got the thought. I'm like, I should check. I bet if I check my messages right now, somebody asked, and that's when you had asked me, and I'm like, oh, let's just agree to this. Why not?
So is this the first time you've done a podcast, or?
No, okay, I have a podcast. It's not like really an advertised thing. I do have a podcast called The Basement Out Back with a couple other people,
okay.
Like online friends of mine, and we just kind of ramble about whatever. But that podcast had been going on before I blew up on YouTube, so It was kind of, we kind of did a weird rebranding thing now. Where we're like, hey, raxdflipnote's in this now.
You know what? Fair enough. Understandable. But I mean, aside from that, like, you know, you said you got like 10 or 12 other people. Have you appeared on anyone else's podcasts?
I don't think so, okay. Honestly. You might be the first. I'll have to double check because like, dude, like the last 8 months of my life has been kind of like somebody pressed fast forward and it's just like, we're here now. So I very well could have done one, but just not remembered.
I mean, that's fair. I will also say, like, yeah, given how the past year, let alone the past 8 months had been for you, I could get how a thing or two gets lost in the process more than anything else.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Rax, before we really get going, I'm going to ask the icebreaker question of the podcast, if I may. Let's say
Of course, of course.
let's say you get to go to a desert island on your own accord. It is just you alone with your thoughts. You get to kick back, relax, breathe, to truly enjoy yourself for a little bit. With accommodations, you're not stranded on a desert island. It's like your own personal Airbnb, paradise away from society for a little bit, for as long as you want.
Okay.
To make sure you don't go completely insane on this island, you can bring one piece of media or one piece of art with you to help with whatever kind of headspace you want on this island. If given this opportunity, what would that one piece be?
That's wow. Okay, I thought you were going towards deserted island question for a second. I was like, I'm not ready. I don't know what 3 things I'd bring, man. I don't know video games. Let's see. Okay, any piece of art. So it could be like an album. It could be a painting. It could be like a CD I like or something.
It could be, like I said, album, painting, comic series, TV show, movie, whatever you consider art or media is all within that realm.
Okay, hang on. I'm going to Spotify because it's probably going to be music. I'm looking at my recent.
I'm liking that you're going right to Spotify right
now.
to that.
Honestly, I'm pretty jumpy with answers to these. So like, ask me a week from now, it's going to be something completely different. Keep that in mind. But like right now, there is an album. It came out last year. It's called "The Fox and the Bird" by OK Goodnight, and it is a terrific album. It's about a fox and a bird that have to sacrifice themselves on a mountain to bring a rain to the land they live on.
That is
to save all the creatures and critters.
That is very interesting. I need to expand my own music taste because I never heard that. It sounds very interesting.
It's a very good concept album, and I listened to it for the first time yesterday per a friend's recommendation. But
okay.
like I said, that's not like you asked me a week from now, and I'll probably say something else. But
I was gonna say, like, I know you said concept album. Like, what kind of genre esque or whatnot is it? Like, is it folk? Is it rock or something along the lines?
It's like prog metal.
Okay.
It's got a lot of contrasting like light and heavy parts though, which I really like when albums do that. It's like very on and off with the aggressiveness of it.
I definitely gotta listen to that sometime this week. I know I'm not gonna be doing it tomorrow because the time that we're recording is the day before my favorite artist of all time drops his newest album, Tyler the Creator, with
Chromacopia. Wow, that's another great icebreaker because man, I bought the Chromacopia box set and it's sold out like 4 hours after I bought it. So I'm like really glad I did.
Yeah, no joke.
I've been a fan of his stuff since Igor.
Yes, okay.
When it came out, me and my friends were going on a beach trip in Florida, and we listened to it nonstop throughout that trip. So every time I listen to Igor, I think of the beach, and that's pretty sick.
That is incredible. I know for me, I was somewhat of a fan fairly early on, but I didn't really become like I was aware of his stuff. I remember watching like when he won the MTV Video Music Award for like Best New Artist or something like that. But I didn't really become a fan until Flower Boy, and then just like everything after Flower Boy has just been like banger after banger after banger.
It's been terrific, yeah.
And I'm so like you mentioned the box set. I remember I bought one of the versions of the box set. I think it was the one with just the black cap or whatnot. And I also made sure to buy the limited pressing, like first test pressing of the vinyl. So I'm excited to get that whenever it comes. So
nice, sweet dude.
And for once, I'm actually going to buy and go to a ticket to go to one of his concerts because that is one of my dreams. Especially, I don't know about you, but if you've ever seen like any of his live performances or whatnot, they're a wholly different experience. Like it's insane.
Oh no, I was at the Call Me If You Get Lost tour. I went to one of those concerts. It was sick.
I was supposed to go. So I live in Georgia, so like I was gonna go to the Atlanta one, but at like the same weekend that he was gonna be there, I had just restarted my job, so I couldn't like call off of work like early to go to it.
Oh, unfortunate. I only went to the Call Me If You Get Lost one because like normally like yeah those tickets are a lot. I had a friend that got 2 tickets and one of his friends bailed on him. They had some family thing going on. They never told me details, but basically I got a free ticket to a Tyler concert and it was a very cool experience.
Oh hell yeah. I know I'm certainly excited whenever I do get the opportunity. But regardless, back to the icebreaker question itself. The Fox and the Bird, that is your answer. You're locking that in.
I'm locking that in.
Okay.
That's my answer.
Then if that's the case, I cannot think of a better way to start the Postmodern Art Podcast. Welcome everyone. I am your host, Nathan Ragland. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, or follow whatever audio streaming platform you prefer. You would look fantastic in the merch that we have at the merch shop on fourthwall.com. Link to that is in the description below. And you can follow us on Blue Sky, Instagram, and TikTok at PostModArtPod for future updates and guest announcements, including today's guest. He is an animator whose flipnote animations have been entertaining the masses with burgers, trolleys, gambling, and more. Welcome to the podcast, raxdflipnote.
Yeah. Wow, you hyped me up so well, dude. Okay, I'm ready.
It's one of the few things I take like pleasure. Like I like to think of myself, because for any of the guests I like to bring on, I want to think of myself as like the ring announcer for someone coming down to the wrestling ring, and like
absolutely.
And like it doesn't matter who that person is. If you got the right ring announcer, you're gonna get a reaction one way or another. I mean, with you, it's a lot easier to get a good reaction from you. All you have to do is just tell people, "Let's go gambling." But regardless, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. I'm getting in the Halloween spirit right now. Still have no idea what my costume's gonna be, but yeah, it's just as I said earlier. I don't know if you were recording when I said this, but I was carving pumpkins earlier, and I should definitely send you like the pumpkin I did, because it's like a stupid looking pumpkin. I'll find the image later, but I gave my pumpkin like a giant forehead and like a stupid wide smile. It's very goofy looking. I am terrible at pumpkin carving, so like I actually raised the bar this year and like tried to make one that was like decent, and I like how it turned out.
That I please send me a photo of that, because I'm already imagining what you mean with like big old forehead, wide goofy smile, and it's like that's just what the Halloween spirit is supposed to be. Just being ridiculous just being ridiculous at the end of the day. And I'm glad you're in the Halloween spirit. I will say, for those that watch this episode, this would be the week after Halloween. You saw my Halloween costume, which was basically just bootleg Joker whenever I interviewed Maxwell Adams. Yeah, yes, I interviewed the creator of Billy and Mandy, painted up like a clown. Something new every day. Anyways, but regardless,
there you go. I sent the pumpkin to you.
Oh, I definitely got to look at this bad boy. Let me. Oh my god. Yes. Oh my god, the effort on the teeth alone, I can only imagine what that's like.
That was rough.
Trying to get that, like, you know, like getting enough of the rind off, but not like going too deep to where, like, you know, you still like get it illuminated. That's great. I love that. But regardless, no, like I said before, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. Like I kind of said with the little intro and whatnot, I have just loved your videos that you've been presenting for a good couple months now or whatnot. So getting the chance to sit down and chat with you, I know this is going to be a fun chat. But before we talk about the stuff you're making nowadays, I want to go back just a little bit and learn more or less the origin story of Rax. What got you interested in art and animation in the first place?
Well, okay. My journey with animation is kind of weird. I guess it started with like in middle school, and it was actually one of my classmates that got me into it, just drawing comics, like 4-panel comics. Or we kind of had this obsession, like we had fake studios that we'd make comics under, and we'd keep like a binder full of them. So my passion for just like basic like stickman drawings really originated like probably, I don't know, ages ago when I was in middle school.
Okay.
And it kind of became a competitive thing for a while, because it was what was that?
Huh?
What was that?
What was what? No, seriously, what was what? Did something happen?
Wait, hang on. Oh my god, something started playing on my YouTube tab in the background, and I thought it was in the background. Oh my god, okay, I'm closing out all my programs. That actually terrified me, man. It was this, I don't know what video it was. It was somebody's like Amazon like Alexa thing going off, and I was like, "Are you good? Like what triggered that?" And it was just from a video. Dear God. Okay, that terrified me.
You started scaring me too, because I'm thinking like, did something happen with my camera and I didn't notice, because my camera has been acting up. So if it starts,
there's somebody behind you.
Ah.
Okay, we're good now. That was a close one. All right. But to pick up where I left off. So it started with comics. And then I think it was Well, okay, honestly, I'm going a little bit non-linear storytelling here, guys. You may want to take some notes. Back in fifth grade, I sat down. We had a media specialist at my elementary school, and there was like a 1 hour or 2 hour course you could take on how to use Windows Movie Maker, like actually know like all the features and stuff. And
Oh,
that wasn't the most laid out program, but it was simple enough for, I don't know, like 10-year-old, 11-year-old me to use. So I submitted some stuff. We had like a local like media festival thing, and I submitted a bunch that was basically just me drawing on paper like a comic panel and then taking a picture of it with my dad's digital camera and then doing voiceover of what the characters were saying. So
okay.
that it kind of was, and I really need to find these because it was so long ago. I know I burned a DVD of some of these, but a lot of them are lost to time, unfortunately. But like that was very like proto Flipnote era. I didn't even know about Flipnote back then. I don't think the DSi had been released. It was right when it was released, but I didn't know about it. And then a while later, I think it was through me watching YouTube or something, I stumbled across it was a program called Anime Studio 8,
Okay.
and it's like an ancient software now, but it was like 2010 or something. And that's where I learned like I mean, I've never been like a super technical guy, but like I learned how to move things and keyframe them so that they move the way you want them to. Stuff like that. Like I was moving shapes around and I put like faces on them and then voiceover. That was a very short-lived phase. And honestly, that's where I should have really picked up animation and got like technically really good at it,
Hmm.
like doing flash animations or something. I think I always would have enjoyed that. But aside from that, it was like just on and off over the years, me doing like pivot stick figure animating, which is a program a lot of people on, a lot of my friends used it because it was free and you could install it on the school computers without the firewall completely making it. So we were very limited back then. But I guess other than that, it was like um, over COVID, like a few years ago, I got in the Blender, but it's never really been like I guess it's little things here and there from my past that have kind of all come together into like me finally like just the stars aligned. On an impulse, I bought like a 2DS, got Flipnote on it, and just started animating with no specific goal in mind. I was just like, yeah, this could be a cool hobby. And like I messed with it for a week, and then that's when I started putting it on YouTube, and pretty much the rest is history there. But yeah, it was kind of a weird story because I feel like a lot of animators on YouTube would be like, oh yeah, I watched Newgrounds as a kid, and I, basically tried to recreate a lot of the stuff I was seeing, and that's, they get years of experience. I mean, I wasn't ever on Newgrounds. I was on like more niche sites. I get like I used like Miniclip. I knew about Flash games, but I
Okay.
was on Stick Page a lot. I watched a lot of stick fighting stuff. I followed. I did know of Alan Becker's stuff, like animator versus animation. I'd watched some of that. But other than that, it was really just I guess the urge to like make a comic like I did back in the day kind of manifested itself into Flipnote. I don't really know how else to look at it because it kind of just it's a thing that happened. I'm
Yeah.
very impulsive with decisions in my life of like I want to do this. I want to learn guitar or like I want to learn how to code or like I've had all these phases of just doing random stuff and Flipnote just happened to be one that the internet really liked. So I'm glad it worked out the way it did.
I mean, it's good to know that while you said it is like impulse kind of a thing to go with the flip note and stuff like that, it's not fully impulse. Hearing obviously the creative urge that you kind of had, like in fifth grade and such with the Windows Movie Maker and such, and all these different programs and stuff like that. Like it makes me curious. Like, was animation always something you've kind of more or less like considered doing yourself, like long term at a certain point, or like was it just like a fun little side thing, just like, hey, it'd be cool to like learn this. Like, how was animation more or less like a thing for you growing up?
It was never a thing where I was like dead set on like, okay, I want to be an animator. I was more like I want to be an artist, like more vague or like I eventually, I went to college. I only graduated like a year back, but I was doing I actually started in computer science, but I ended up in film, which is ultimately I was like, okay, I want to do film and media because that was like broad enough to where I'm not boxing myself into something until
Right.
I'm not I'm not like 100% sure I want to do it. So that gave me the freedom to like, okay, if I want to do animation, I can. If I want to do video editing, I can. If I want to, be a cameraman for like a big movie production, I can, which I hope I can still do all those things at some point. But yeah, I was never like, I think maybe at a certain point when I was like 7 or 8, I would like, watch cartoons and I was probably like, yeah, it'd be cool to do that. But it actually never was like, I never made the conscious choice that like I want to pursue animation. It just kind of stayed as like a side hobby for me for the most part. Um, like I said, like at some point, I'm sure if you asked me as a kid, I would have been like, oh yeah, I want to be an animator. But other than that, like that didn't stay my passion for like, it wasn't a big enough priority to where I was like, I want to do a career in this.
That's extremely valid more than anything else. I mean, I imagine not only on top of that, but some of the stuff you were also exposed to growing up, kind of like the stickman stuff, as well as YouTube. I imagine YouTube was probably a major thing for you growing up, seeing different creators and stuff like that. How big was YouTube, and more or less like your, I guess, creative process, or like wanting you to be like an artist of some sort?
Oh, it was, yeah. YouTube was super essential and like kind of building just the different stuff I saw and like seeing that other people were succeeding on YouTube and that like, hey, I could try this and it may not work out for me. But I've been making videos on YouTube and there's a long rabbit hole of channels I could probably backtrack to. I think I first started making videos in 2014. I got a copy of Ableton Live,
Okay.
and I made a really crappy cover of Carol of the Bells, like the Christmas song.
Oh wow.
And back then, I didn't even know how the program worked, so I had this crappy. It's a really weird looking Logitech mic they used to have. It had a stand on it, and it was like just a thin little stick with a mic on the end of it. And I'd put that up to my dad's speakers on his computer and record the song playing back in the program because I didn't know how to export. And I uploaded those to YouTube for a while, for like a year, and just kind of ping ponged around to different things. But yeah, like growing up, I watched a lot of like I could probably name like I watched a fair few like Minecraft people, a lot of gaming content creators. I watched a little bit of Vanos Gaming and like CNanners,
yes.
and I liked a lot of skit based stuff too, which you can definitely see in my work now. Julian Smith was a big inspiration. Rhett and Link were a big inspiration. I don't think I can point it to one specific person because like just like my hobbies that like it's kind of like impulsively chosen. I was like that with YouTube where I'm like, okay, today I'm just gonna watch a bunch of gaming videos until 11 o'clock, which at the time was like way past my bedtime, and I should have been staying on the computer for that long. But it was very like on and off, like me watching a bunch of different stuff. But yeah, it was a combination of like I don't know, gaming stuff I watched, skits, and I was really a fan of like the YouTube creators that they were basically making movies. Like they had the expensive gear, all the cameras and stuff. Not that like your gear doesn't necessarily matter like a whole lot as long as you have the basic stuff. I know that now,
Right.
but like I was like, oh, I can't wait to have like a big movie camera of my own and make my own stuff. So the passion was definitely there watching YouTube for a while. I definitely didn't like my parents were pretty guarding of like letting me just fully have unrestricted access to the internet, which thanks mom and dad. I appreciate that. That would have that seriously messed me up. And I've seen stuff on the internet, I'm not gonna lie, but like I was probably 14 or 15 before I like could really watch YouTube and like not be, my parents not say anything about it. So yeah, like 2014-ish is when I really, because I was kind of allowed to just watch YouTube, I made a YouTube channel and started posting stuff. And it was so long ago and I've deleted all the videos, but there was a lot of music for a while. I made MLG videos for a while when that was a trend. That was like 2015. That was like the peak MLG era on YouTube.
Like around the time that people like the Vanos and such were like getting big for stuff like that.
2016, like the more toxic era of YouTube. You had Filthy Frank. You had who else? God, Leafy is here. Yeah. I did watch a lot of his videos growing up. That's actually how I learned how to CS:GO surf. I'm embarrassed to admit that, but I like just a few days ago got back on and I'm like, I bet I still got it. And I was tearing up those ramps, dude.
There you go.
But yeah, 2016 was like I really started. I actually had a channel with a few of my friends It was me and three other people, and we like
Okay.
alternated uploads kind of on a cycle. It was kind of unorganized, but we did videos a lot, and that basically turned into like it kind of loosely became my channel because I went like overboard with like I got obsessed with video editing seriously. In like 2016, I was in like high school. I didn't have a lot of homework, so like I would do my homework while I was at school, and the second I got home, I'd hop on CS:GO or Minecraft or something and make a video and edit it and upload it on YouTube, and it get 12 views, and I'll be like, let's go, one more than last time, let's go. That's what we love to see.
Yep.
And that was like a year and a half phase. I eventually made my own channel, which I posted like that was like from 2017 to 2023, it was like every year was a different type of content, right? I did like gaming videos. I tried getting into streaming on like Twitch and YouTube in 2018. I started speedrunning. I got into like getting over it, and later on Jump King, but a lot of those rage games, I'm like, I still retain a lot of that skill today, because I was kind of a no life with like wanting to speedrun stuff. My getting over at times is like nothing compared to the world record, but it's like a 3 minute or like 2 minute and a half time, I think, is as fast as I got. But
That's insane regardless.
yeah, in 2019 was a year of like a lot of skits. 2020, COVID got me to stream again in like March all the way up into summer. Trying to think, and then it was kind of just whatever I felt like uploading. And then I distinctly in like 2022 I was like, okay, I want to become a video essay channel, and I posted a couple of them were on Tetris, which I don't know if you know what Tetrio is. It's like a desktop client it's like a modern Tetris client. It's like updated regularly, really fun. I got into that really competitively to where I was like the top like 4%, 5%, which I don't consider Tetris as a fighting game, but like I've never really been into Smash or anything like that much to where I'm like, okay, I want to play this like frequently, only if like a friend had it or whatever. So like that was my excuse for like, oh yeah, I'm a fighting games player, and it was just, I don't know, something about it. I got really good at it, so I made a couple videos on that, and they did okay. They got a few thousand each, and I kind of was in that community for a while. There was a couple. There used to be a streamer. If Caboozled Pie happens to stumble across this, shout out to you, buddy, because he would get like 150 viewers, and then he'd like raid me pretty frequently. So I was actually seeing like pretty big numbers. Unfortunately, I like kind of burn out on it because I was like playing it too much, as would happen with like a lot of games. You play something too much, but more or less, come like the beginning of 2024, I was like, okay, I want to make a YouTube content strategy where I'm going to upload one video every month. Right, I'm going to do one video a month every month of this year, and regardless of how many views it gets, I'm just going to do it to improve my skills, and then I'm going to put all those into like a portfolio thing, and then when I apply for jobs, I can be like, look at this stuff I made that's like professionally edited. I got 2 months into it, and that's when I bought the 2DS, and literally I can tell you the exact date because I got the 2DS on February 2nd. I was doing flip notes on the side. I had uploaded a Lethal Company video. Got like 300 views, and then I started making these flip notes, and on February 12th, I made raxdflipnote. That was always the name of the channel, by the way. I just, and we can get into later how that name came to be, but I had essentially started posting stuff irregularly throughout the end of February. I think I had about 10 subs when I started. So I told some people about it, like online friends. I'm like, hey, I'm just going to be using this as a content dump channel. I'm just going to post these animations for fun. And I got really, really hooked on it because the program is really simple to use. Like, you don't have to be very technically involved with it. It's just like draw what you want, turn the page. It's got like the onion skin or whatever where you can see like the previous frame. And that's it. You have like 2 layers, 2 color or like 3 color choices, but you're very limited. And I loved that because it pushed me to be the most creative version of myself I could, because I mean, no disrespect, like, you know, there's like Adobe Animate and stuff. If I had tried to learn Adobe Animate, I would have just gotten bored and moved on, because like I was busy learning all the keybinds and stuff for it.
Right.
Flipnote is just, no, just tap the thing you want on the screen, and it's like stupid simple. And that simplicity is like it's such an appeal to me. I don't know, it was just like right place, right time. I was like, I'm running with it. By the end of February, I had like 60 subs, and then I just started doing it daily, and the channel like took off within a month. I was like, okay, I'm doing this for a year at least now, and I'm not stopping daily uploads, because I honestly, it's still super fun to me. The only limiting factor really being coming up with fresh ideas is hard after you've done 236 of them, I think I'm at now. That probably answered like 5 questions in that that thing I said, but man, this guy's yapping too much, dude.
Hey, you say that, but like, I'm a person that encourages the rambling and stuff, because I mean, it's a podcast, it's a long form content.
I do be talking.
Yeah.
It's very convenient, you know. I do. This is a perfect setting for me, because I like talking a lot.
Well, there you go. Then I think this is the perfect friendship right here. I want to hear you talk. You want to talk. Perfect.
Amazing. We have a little business transaction here going on.
Yes, indeed. I was also gonna say, besides, I could tell, like, the more you're talking about this stuff, like, especially like, you know, the early love for some of the YouTubers and such, and how that transitioned to this like new fun period for you, to where you get to express that creativity, but also like, you know, see people love and appreciate that in return and whatnot. I could tell, like, the more you were talking about it, you had that kind of like tunnel vision of like, this is what you love, this is what you're passionate about. And
Yeah.
I love it when people get into that tunnel vision more than anything else, because I know they're like locked in, and they mean what they say.
We're so locked in right now.
We are locked the fuck in, and I appreciate that. I'm amazed, more or less, with, like, you know, well, I'm not. Ooh, sorry, excuse me. No, I appreciate all the different directions you more or less like jump to, and all the different opportunities that you explored for yourself, especially with all the previous YouTube channels and such.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you were like, for example, whenever you talk about certain YouTubers, like, I know you had mentioned Vanoss or whatnot. That's one of the early ones that like got me hooked to watching YouTube in the first place, more than anything else.
Yeah.
It's like him, and like nowadays, you know, I'm in the very similar path, to where it's like, you know, I have like my subscriptions, I'll watch like the newest videos, but like I get to the point to where like I have my TV sitting right here in front of me, to where like you know, going to bed, I'll just turn on like a random mix of like a certain YouTuber, whether it be like the Russian Badger or Cold Ones, or, you know, Blarg, or different YouTubers like that, to where I'll just have their videos like playing back to back and such. So I get that mentality, I get that, like, it taking inspiration from all these different, you know, people. I think the thing that is curious for me or whatnot is, you know, again, flip notes. It's interesting that that's the path you decide to take. Not that obviously people don't like flip notes. There's obviously several amazing flip note artists out there. But what was it about like flip notes in general that intrigued you to it? Like, what made you want to dip your toe in that field when it comes to animation?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. So like the first big thing, and I've referenced this several times. I've actually made references in my animation. When I was 13, I owned a 3DS, right?
Oh, okay.
And I think I can't remember if I had Flipnote on it, but granted, like if I would have had it long enough, I would have definitely figured out about Flipnote, because I remember my neighbors showed me it because they had a DSi. There was I don't remember consciously being like, I want to make flip notes, but I did have a 3DS, and I think because like something had happened, it must have been 2 months into owning it, because it was like right after Christmas. I forget when the 3DS came out, 2011 or 2012. I think 2012 I got one. Anyways, somewhere around there. I was hanging out with some neighbors where we had like a group to like regularly play games. To like, one of my neighbors had a PS2, and we'd play a lot of Black Ops Zombies and stuff. You know, as you should. But I had left my 3DS on this dude's trampoline. Okay, like he had a trampoline, and you know, as like a 11, 12-year-old kid, that's like peak fun. Like no YouTube, just trampoline gaming for 3 hours until we're drenched in sweat, and then we go home and take a shower.
Yep.
But I had left it on the dude's trampoline, and like I realized 2 hours later, I was like, "Huh, I want to, grab my 3DS." It wasn't there, and somehow, either him or his parents or somebody walking by, I don't know who it was to this day, they stole my 3DS, just straight up. Didn't have it. So all that childhood that I could have been making flip notes, harnessing my abilities, it just wasn't there. But because of
I
that,
say my heart, it breaks for you.
I know. Hey, dude, look. I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a purpose,
Right.
to some extent. So, like, I think it ended up being for the best because, like, you take that path where, like, oh, I go back to the trampoline, the 3DS is there. I never make the same YouTube video that leads into me liking something else and a butterfly effects, and then I never become famous YouTuber Flipnote guy. So, I should thank them for stealing my 3DS. Although whoever it was, I'd like to have a kind word with them and let them know.
I just want to talk. I just want to talk. I just want to talk.
I just want to talk. I just want to talk. Anyways, yeah, so like because my 3DS was stolen as a kid, I don't think I really had that creative input into Flipnote that I do now. So like one way or another, that creative energy that I would have used had I still had my 3DS, it was kind of just like saved in my brain until, a couple of YouTube videos here and there because I did skits for a while. But that like thinking in short form, skit based stuff is like essentially what Flipnote was. I think to a lot of people, it was like you could make a joke really quick, cut to the punchline. It's like 10-second long clips, and you could share them with other people who also had Flipnote. And that kind of, I don't know, maybe it's something about like, because I do have ADHD, so like I kind of think in very short, like Flipnote length thoughts anyways. So like it was the perfect medium for me.
Right.
But I think, yeah, I don't know if that answered your question or not. My thought kind of trailed off a little bit there.
If it helps, I think it more than answered the question of like obviously why Flipnote was like the thing. Seeing obviously like you had that early love for the 3DS in general, and then obviously seeing other people how they were able to use that software and such. Like I can already think of like a good couple people, like for example the ones that you collaborate with, like Zane Little or Kiki, or like Kiki Flipnote. I am absolutely amazed with what they are able to do with Flipnotes more than anything else.
Seriously, I have no idea, by the way, how Kiki Flipnote does that so clean,
right?
But it is genuinely impressive, and I finally had the opportunity to talk to them a while ago. Like a month ago on Twitter DMs, and I think they're on Blue Sky also. But we were basically saying, we love your work, and Kiki was like, I like how you've done, like you've kept it a very simple style, but it's like it works so well. Yes. And I'm like, I like how you've done it, like you've gone like super, like the other end of it, like it's super super well drawn, very fluid, and like it works really well. And I don't know, they've been more or less on the map since like, dude, like 9-10 years ago. Yeah. So
I was saying
that's crazy.
The longevity that they've been able to have, as well as like the fun they've been able to have with like what they're doing and what they're presenting. Like also in a way like keeping it simple, but just like executing it like elegantly. Wow, words are wonderful, aren't they? But yeah, no, like. On that same note, though, I also agree with Kiki. Like the way you've been able to present these flip notes, like it's so simple, but yet like I think more than anything else, it's like the comedy of it, or like the punchline more than anything else for any of the videos that you present. I cannot tell you how much I just love putting on one of your videos and just finding that moment where I can just sit back and laugh, just because you nail that punchline more than anything else. I think part of that could be like you said, you had years working on sketches and stuff, so you kind of have that kind of mentality ahead of time,
like the mindset. Yeah.
The mindset ahead of time of like build up and then punchline more than anything else. I'm curious, before we go all in when it comes to the Flipnote stuff, you did mention like skits and video essays, stuff like that. Is there any of your early content that you are the most proud of, whether it's the time you've been able to dedicate to it, or like just the humor of it, or just the good times that I reminisce on? Is there like a particular favorite of the early content?
I guess there's both ends of the spectrum, because I made a mix of like very short, edit it together. It'd be like me on a green screen with some buddies, and we edit together. We had one that took place in the West, and it was like me as the sheriff of this town, right? And I was like defending this one bandit guy that was like try to attack the town or whatever. And it was really stupid, but we made it. It was like right during the summer between high school and college, so like everybody was pretty free during that era. So I got like a bunch of my high school buddies. We made like 3 or 4 of these things like back to back. And there was like that element of it where it wasn't Flipnote linked, it's a couple minutes, but like from recording it to like editing it together to posting it, I could do it all same day. And then you have the like that type of content I'm really happy about. Like a majority of it was green screen skits, but there's actually a Flipnote that's based on a skit I made, a really short skit I made from 2019, 2020. And it's of me asking, it's like, it was a real life skit of me asking my friend, hey, do you ever just wake up in the morning? And he goes, no. And it's just him flatlining on a hospital bed. That was an actual real life skit we made. And then like one day I was just like, I'm running low on ideas. Why don't I just go back to old content? That's the first video I saw, and I'm like, that's a Flipnote. There we go.
There you go. I was gonna say, because I remember seeing the Flipnote for it, and I'm like, oh
I'm stealing content from myself 5 years ago. This is how desperate I've gotten, guys.
Literally just, ooh, he's stealing. Ooh, he's stealing. It's like, it's from myself.
I'd rather steal from myself than somebody else.
No, that's
I've done a couple references to trends, but I feel like I keep it pretty core to just like keeping it as original as I can.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, that obviously now we're going into the like the Flipnote era of you or whatnot. Like what you've been able to present, like you said, yeah, there might be a couple times where you hop on trends or whatnot, but for the most part, like the ideas and the concepts that you're able to present out there and just give like a good fun punchline to more than anything else. Like I cannot tell you how much I just get a laugh every single time I just get like a random video of yours like on TikTok or something like that. Like I'll be scrolling through and then I'll just get like the random one about Burger Man, for example, which I'm curious how Burger Man came to be. I gotta ask about that one right off the bat.
It's very well. It's both complicated and not complicated because burgers as like an item, like a bit, like a prop that I use has been a bit in my videos even before Flipnote.
Okay.
I can't really explain how. It's just like it just manifested itself as like an in joke. So like there are a lot of friends I watch or a lot of friends that like watch my old content. Did they see something like Burger Man and they know it's a reference to my older content without me actually explicitly saying so, which I think is really cool. But then Burger Man was just me like, hey, like I really don't overthink these things, man. I was like, I'm going to put a hamburger on a stick person's body and call him Burger Man. And he's going to be like a like superhero, but like a really bad superhero.
Burger power.
Like he sucks at what he does. Yeah.
No,
burger attack.
Burger attack. Burger attack. But don't tempt the burger blast. That's overpowered.
That's right. You don't want the burger blast. That's like the one punch man's final move. You don't want to mess with that, dude.
Exactly. Like it does lead me to another question. And I don't expect this to be a super deep answer more than anything else, but like, what's the process like for you going from like silly little idea to solid video that you put out there into the world?
Okay, it's a mix of like, generally my process is like, the day I'm gonna animate something, I usually spend my day because I try to animate earlier in the morning, but like I'll get up, go to the gym, take a shower. Maybe eat, depending on how late in the day is, I might eat lunch or something, but then either early afternoon or late morning I'm animating, and I try between the time I wake up or like the night before or something. I've usually got an idea in my head that I kind of just came up with, and really the source material for my ideas is like either a lot of it is stuff my parents said to me as a kid. Like, I grew up in the South. There's a lot of really Southern sayings I think are really stupid, and I never understood why everybody said them. So like, I'm on a seafood diet, seafood and eat it. I'm like, why are you saying this right now? I don't enjoy that. But it was like so cheesy that it was like, it was so unfunny that it was funny, It's like it has that inverse effect. And then just childhood experiences. A lot of what I watch, what I've experienced, trips I've been on. I mean, in general, I feel like a lot of artists base their art off just experiences they've had, right? So like I might not be able to place where I got the idea, but it's just kind of manifested itself in my head from like all the experiences I've had in my life. Especially like I'm looking right now, shopping core, you know, where he's trying to scan the thing on the checkout aisle. That's been an actual thing that's happened to me. And I'd be like, why are you doing this to me? Right now, I need to leave Walmart.
Please try again.
Yes. Insert cash or select payment type.
Yes. Oh my God. I cannot tell you how much that like haunts my nightmares sometimes just hearing that phrase.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like a lot of just stuff I've experienced, and a lot of it's exaggerated. I see it no different as like a story time YouTuber. It's just told really short and with made up characters, and not all of them are like based on my actual life. But like, I don't know, if I make one about a game show, it's probably because I was watching Jeopardy the night before, and I'm like, I just want to do one in a game show setting. Like it doesn't have to be, because these animations are so short. Yeah. I don't have to have a fully fledged out idea. I'm just going to be like, I'm going to make something that takes place in a grocery store today. And then I just sit there for a couple minutes and brainstorm, and I'm like, okay, this is stupid, but I'll do it. You know, a lot of it's like, I'm usually not happy with the idea, but then after I make the animation, I'm like, okay, this is okay. I'll post this. I don't really scrap anything, because making these once a day, I'm just like, if it sucks, people will find a way to make it fun, like make a joke out of it. So it doesn't matter.
I mean, I think with what you've been able to present, and how, especially how the internet sometimes takes it and runs away with it or whatnot, it's certainly a good thing when it comes to like your content or whatnot, because of how simple but yet how effective it is. It's just simple setup, punchline. No need to dance around the issue more than anything else. And it's really hilarious how you're able to present some of the stuff. I think obviously the best example for that, and the one that I have been dancing around for a little bit, we have to talk about it, Rex. We have to talk about it.
We have to talk about it. I know what you're going to say.
What was the idea behind the campfire skit more than anything else?
Okay, I thought you were going to say gamblecore. Never mind.
I mean, we'll talk to that in a second. I was just making more or less like a reference to actually how you got to 1 million views thing. Although I will say I do love that campfire one. Just to, again.
Oh, camping? Yeah.
Yeah, camping. Yeah. Just like, they're out there. Oh, this is so peaceful out here. You can't be doing this, guys.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, dude, sometimes it's hard to explain my process for stuff, because it was just like, I was like the thing I thought of was the flip. No, I don't know. I was like, I'm going to have two guys that it looks like they're outside, and you don't have context because the lights are actually off and they're inside. Yep. Would be like hilarious. Then I did a second one where they were doing it in their boss's house, and he's like, please, can you leave me alone? So
it's so great.
A bit of a reoccurring bit, I guess.
I love the reoccurring bits, but obviously, again, now in all seriousness, we do gotta talk about it. What was the inspiration for Gamblecore? Like, how did that become an idea and that you wanted to present out into the world?
I wish I had a super clear answer. I guess it was like, because like Gamblecore, although it is my most popular work, I spent no extra time on it than anything else, right? I was just trying to be like, okay, I'm making an animation every day. And I think when I was making Gamblecore, my channel already had, I think I had 130K. I actually looked at it before doing the episode just to fact check myself. But yeah, I had well over 100K. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't like a complete nobody. A lot of my shorts were taking off, but it was like, Gamblecore, I guess, manifested itself from there was actually a Discord server I was in for a while, and one of my buddies who was in it made this bot that you could gamble with. So it'd give you like, it was all fake currency, but you could get like 100 coins a day. Like, I'm sure you've been in a server with some kind of bot where you can like gamble fake currency or something, but it was like you could do like a slot machine or like a bet flip, which is basically a coin flip. You have a 50-50 chance of getting heads or tails, and you can double your money. But like I had that as like I said, a lot of like some of my stuff, like the burger thing, was like kind of an inside joke. So in that way, like Gamblecore almost became like that server that I was in. A lot of my friends who still watch my content now were part of that same server, and like it became like a cult following like thing with a bot where like everyone would go on every single day and just gamble their money until it was zero. And I thought that was funny. And that like I hope people take away from Gamblecore that like it is about like don't gamble, it's stupid because the guy keeps losing. And I'm fortunate I haven't gotten a message about it, but like after it started taking off, I'm like, I wonder if anybody's parents are gonna be like, my child thinks gambling is good now. You've ruined our lives. And I'm like, oh, that's not what the point is.
No, it's not at all. That's not the point at all, especially when considering the fact that, especially for the first one, every single time the dude just says, oh dang it, oh dang it, oh dang it. Like it's not like he's saying yes. Like it's not that.
I've also like legitimately I'm over 21. I've done a little bit of gambling in my life, and like that's always the experience.
Yep.
Even like in my college, we had a poker club that was never with real money, but I would always like I'd be doing great for the first 5 minutes, and the next 2 hours was just a slow burning downward spiral of me being like, well, I can still recover what I have. Nope, I lost that hand. Well, I can still get a bet. Nope, I lost that hand, and it's like, yeah. It's kind of the message of Gamblecore is don't gamble your money away, please. Don't do that.
So what you're saying is in the future we should be expecting poker core, just like let's play poker. Oh,
we should.
Oh dang it! Oh dang it!
There you go. Yes.
No, but in all seriousness, like like the video itself, like just as simple and as blunt as it is, like it's hilarious how you're able to present it because it wasn't like just a person at a slot machine. Like you had to make obviously the comically large button and the comically large slot machine more than anything else. But like on top of that, like I think it's also like the audio, like thank God for the flip, like the DS mic for being like the quality that it is more than anything else.
Yes, that adds so much to it, honestly.
Like I that's the one thing I love when it comes to your videos as well, when it comes to just like again setup punchline. It's just like that mic quality is like just crunchy enough to where like like it's off of a DSi, but it's not like too bad that you can't understand what in the world you're saying. It adds like a new layer of like humor and almost like a bit of nostalgia, especially for those that use that DSi mic like back in the day when it was like the thing going on. I think the thing that amazed me more than anything else is not just the Gamblecore video, but like how people have taken it and applied it and remixed it in all sorts of different ways. It has to amaze you, just how people have been able to take that audio.
Yes, it has. It has. Just like Gamblecore. So I posted Gamblecore on May 12th of this year, and I think there was a couple weeks of delay where like, oh, it was doing like better than a video, but then like I saw the YouTube views like go straight up, and I was like, oh, something's happening, and like it blew up on TikTok, it blew up on Instagram, it blew up on Twitter, it was doing numbers on everything, and it was like, for a while I was like, right on, like this is doing awesome, and I was like, okay, it's gonna be a thing for a week. It's still a thing now.
It's still a thing.
People are still. It's been 5 months. It's like, I'm not annoyed by that or anything. It's like, you'd expect everything moves so fast on the internet now. A trend used to be like, it lasts for like how long Gamblecore has, but like today I'd expect something like that to only last a week and people stop caring and move on. But the fact that it's continued to echo throughout the internet over and over again has like genuinely surprised me, and I'm like, I guess it's only because I'm in the position now of being on the receiving end of all the like a viral hit, but I never thought that was possible, I guess. And that like something can just keep circulating online. But like I guess the general meme templates, like the one recently about like the factory worker, and he's like, oh, I guess we making squares now.
Yep.
That's like that has been like prominent for a while. Well, not as long as like 5 months, but I guess it just depends. Like I really don't know what has happened. Like as the creator of this thing, I can't tell you why it's done so well. I guess like the irony of it is that I put no thought into making this. I was just like, I'm gonna have a guy gamble and he loses and says, "Oh dang it." And people, I think, tend to overanalyze. Like, wow, this is so deep. It's saying so much about gamble culture and how it's like, nope. Nope, you're overthinking it, buddy. I'm meeting my animation quota for the day. I'm just making my one animation for the day, you know.
I mean, to be fair, like whenever you get like the dude from like the meme culture YouTube channel making a video about yourself, there are gonna be people that's gonna be like, "What's the underlining thing? Like, what is the secret meaning behind this? What's the subliminal messaging?" No, people like. It's literally just as simple as 1 minute. I'm gonna pull. So it's like it's wild to see how this thing has evolved to where like people are using it for notes and stuff like that, or like for different TikToks, taking the audio and such. I mean, it's gotten to the point to where you get people like, for example, putting it on their soundboards in Discord.
Let's go gambling! Oh dang!
Right.
Oh dang! Oh dang it!
Dude, it's in so many servers that I'm in. And I don't think a lot of them know that I'm in the server. I'm just like I was already in there from like a year ago.
It's like it's literally that meme of like the dude in the corner be like, they don't know I'm the one that made that sound.
Yeah. No, okay. I have not had this happen to me. I swear this is how I'm gonna die. I'm gonna have a stroke when I hear somebody reference gamblecore that I don't know just in public. But I've had so many friends, like when I really knew, I'm like, okay, this is going like beyond what I thought was possible. I'd have people like I have a whole bunch of college friends on Snapchat, and like in a week period, every day I got like I swear for a week straight, every single day I was getting DMs from people saying, "Hey, I had someone send me like a meme with Gamblecore audio in it," or like, "Hey, somebody just sent me this animation," and I'm like, "I know the guy who made this," so I'm like. It's wild how, dude, it's like hard for me to even conceptualize at this point because not only it's like the animation is one thing, but the audio itself is like 20 times more viral than the actual animation. Like there's probably like 95% of people that have heard it do not know I made it. Right. That's how viral it got. Right. It's like not that many people know the photographer that took a picture of that Shiba Inu dog that became Doge. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
I do because I'm awesome, but not a lot of people do. I forgot the guy's name. That dog's dead now, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yeah. But I was gonna say, like, you know that like that audio has taken a completely different level whenever it's used at an EDM concert. Which whenever I saw that in that video, I'm
it's being used. It was being used as like Kamala Harris, like HQ TikTok political page or something. I was like, oh my god, like this is insane.
Like it's so insane to see like
how.
Yeah, exactly how. Just point blank how.
Just how.
It makes me curious now though, because obviously you've seen a lot of usage of that audio and a lot of uses for that video. Do you have a personal favorite one that you've seen, whether it be like someone reanimating it for like their own purposes, or just like how silly they may have used that for like talking about something in real life?
I hope you anticipate what I'm gonna say. It's the Gamblecore mod for Friday Night Funkin'.
That
was like single-handedly. There's another one done for Cheese Wizard too, which is not very known about, but like I think the same person made both of them. And dude, they like actually scratch that because only a week ago, and this is how you know, like I don't even look like I still care so much about, don't get me wrong, I care so much about Gamblecore and its effects on the internet and like all the people that have taken time to make like edits of it. I think that's really cool. But it's gotten so much that like I can't possibly look at all of them, right?
Right, obviously.
I did not even know there's a Rivals of Aether mod for Gamblecore until a week ago. Oh. And that was like very, very popular in that community. I did not even know that. And they reanimated it, and there's like a tungsten cube attack. There's like I counted like there's like 15 references. The person actually like did the research, went through my channel, found an element that would be good for an attack, and like, dude, it's crazy how much work they put into it. Like it's just wild. I don't know. So it's the Friday Night Funkin' mod and the Rivals of Aether mod, just seeing that in video games is cool. You know, not officially, but hey, if anybody wants to use Gamblecore officially in like the next Undertale game, I'll do it. Toby Fox, hit me up, buddy. We can make it work.
Come on, Toby Fox. You can't tell me we can't.
Come on.
Like we have to. We gotta hear like Sans going.
You nailed that.
Like the thing is, so whenever I learned that basically that voice came from like Patrick, a random line from Patrick and SpongeBob or whatnot, I can already do a really solid Patrick impersonation. So Sans just
maybe it's the way you're dressed.
Maybe it's the way you're dressed.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah, you weren't lying, dude. Spot on.
I told you. So it's just.
Can we call what's his name? Bill Fagerbaki?
Oh,
Can we call him up?
I would love to get him in on. I'd love to get him in on a conversation. Him and Tom Kenny and all the people involved in SpongeBob. I would kill for that conversation. Just like,
oh man,
if I get Tom Kenny alone, just like me doing like a silly Patrick impersonation and just us going back and forth as Patrick and SpongeBob, I could die happy. That would be like an ultimate end goal more than anything.
Honestly, same. Honestly, same. There's another thing. Like I completely flew past this, but like when I was mentioning cartoons I watched as a kid, SpongeBob 1000% influences my work. Like it was such. Specifically, not new SpongeBob, but seasons like 1 through 4 were so crucial in me growing up and like having a sense of humor that it's just like stupid humor is like such a big part of my content.
I mean, it was not just like peak kids show; it was just like peak comedy for the time more than anything else.
Like look at meme culture. How many SpongeBob references have been made?
Exactly.
It's like crazy. The one of like Squidward going like tonight, and there's all the glass shattering effects. It's like becoming like post irony like humor. It's still there. It's crazy.
You get classic stuff as a da 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 da. Introducing the flipnote.
Krabby Patty. Okay.
Oh man, like it's so weird how SpongeBob is like a major influence to like. I mean, I guess it's kind of predictable considering the fact that a lot of people in like the culture zeitgeist of today grew up on SpongeBob and stuff, and like especially with how stuff is being presented these days or whatnot, it's easy for us to just remember just a random moment from SpongeBob and just put it into like our own memes and stuff like that. Like, you know, it's weird whenever like single frames like SpongeBob sitting down gets made into a meme more than anything else.
Right. Yeah. That's crazy.
But obviously back to, you know, the conversation and whatnot. I mean, as incredible as to see like gamblecore and such, like I can only imagine like not just the success from that, but just the success of you constantly putting out flip notes is another like impressive thing. Like how much of a creative challenge is it for you to make sure that you are able to put out an episode every single day, or at least a flip note every single day, no matter how long or how short it is?
I want to say it's like hard. It's not hard to animate. It's hard to come up with ideas.
Right.
Because like it must have been around the time I did Gamblecore. It's like 2 months in. I'm like, okay, I need some way. I need to log ideas down, because there could be a day I come up with 10 ideas, but if I don't write them down, what's the point? You know, and they could be like really solid animation ideas. So I made a Google Doc, and it's called Secret Flipnote Ideas Log Don't Tell No One in all caps. That's its exact name. And it's just like, it could be fully like, it could be a conversation that I write down, or like just a phrase, or just a single word, or like a theme. Anything that can spark like, yeah, I can make something like this. Like I still haven't deleted this one off the file, but there's one called Minecraft, and I made one of the Minecraft movie.
Yep.
And I'd written down Minecraft before the Minecraft movie trailer came out, but I was like, you know what? It'd be fun to make like a little parody, like a little nudge towards the Minecraft movie.
Again, I am Steve.
I am Steve. Yes. Looking forward to that, by the way. April 4th, 2025?
April
Something
4th,
like that.
2025. They should have just put on April 1st just to mess with everyone.
They should have, honestly. Is April 1st, like, it can't possibly lie on a Friday.
No, I think that...
No, it's on a Tuesday.
Yeah, it's on a Tuesday. Like I said, just to mess with everyone, because at this point, like, we all have our opinions on those trailers. And
and then they complain off, like, guys, it's okay, it's on April Fool's. You have to like it now. It's a joke.
Exactly.
But yeah, I do have a log. I don't reference it a whole lot. Mm-hmm. Doing ideas daily is not something I can do forever. It's not something anybody can do forever, because you're only human and you're one person. Yep. Unless I hired other people to do it, which honestly I've lost. If I get to the point where like I'm not doing any animation and like I have a team of people doing it for me, I know that's how a lot of animators function, but like if I do that, I'm just the dream's going to be dead for me. I'm not going to enjoy that. I like to have so much creative input into my own work. Yeah. I think like an exception for like, you know, I have an editor. I have a gaming channel, raxd Games now, which I've been doing as kind of just a side project once a week. which by the way, I've realized I don't even have a video recorded for tomorrow, but I guess I'm staying up till 2 a.m. to do that, which I have done a couple weeks now. It's new, so I haven't gotten into the groove of like sitting down to record stuff. Anyways, like, the issue, like the main issue is just coming up with ideas. But like it's kind of on and off. Like I've had a streak for like 3 weeks where it's like so easy. Like I get up, I'm like, I already know. I just wake up, I have an idea. Like I just think about it for a few seconds, and I'm like, okay, tic-tac-toe. Sure, we'll do something on that. Or like making a James Bond reference. We're gonna do one of those or whatever. Like it doesn't have to be, like I said, they're so short. It's like just a single word can carry on like the animation for the day challenge I'm doing. So as long as I'm honestly trying every single day, I don't think there will be a time where I don't upload, even if it's bad. But like there's so much about, like, I fell into basically the jackpot, pun intended, of like animation content, because Flipnote is such a stupid, simple, like, medium of which you can make animation that it doesn't matter if it's bad. That like adds to it. Like I could not be proud of it and still put it out and just be like, whatever, it kind of fits the aesthetic anyway. So like taking the pressure off of like I'm not like in some aspects I'm a person that like likes to, I'm not a perfectionist, but I like to take an honest effort to make something good. But doing it once a day has broken me out of that, and just being like, just make the thing and post it regardless of quality, because it's like the aesthetic of the whole channel is just like one animation a day, and it's like 10 seconds long. It'll take me an hour. The longest Flipnote I've probably made has been like 3 hours, but that's like a rare exception. It's usually like an hour a day. And there's so many different challenges I've seen people do, like Teleporte, I think is his name. Yep. He did an animation a day for a year, a couple years ago. So I'm not the first person to do this. I'm not original in doing that. Or like Markiplier and Crane Gameplays did Unis Honest. I have a shirt from that channel, by the way. Big fan of that channel. They did a video every single day for a year and then deleted the channel. I'm not gonna delete my channel, but like the point is that I'm not the first to do it, but that like it's such a good challenge for me, because man, it's like, it's genuinely fun. Like that's the thing driving me toward it. It's like I have to do this for a year now. I have to prove to myself that I can do this for a year, because we made it. It's about to be this Friday is November 1st as of recording this. So like, that'll be. I started in March. So that'll be 8 months. So I'll be 2/3 of the way done, and then there's just 4 more months and I'm done. Just getting over that halfway point, it's like, oh yeah, I know I can do this.
Like, it's insane to think that especially considering everything, that you started this off, correct me if I'm wrong, you started this off as just like a little side thing, just like a little fun thing to like challenge yourself.
Oh yeah, back when I was talking about making a video every month throughout 2024, I had a plan to do some other video. When I started doing Flipnote, I was like, okay, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a animation every day in March, and I'm going to turn that into a video and just call it, making 30 animations in 30 days or whatever, or 31 days. I guess March is a 31-day month. But the point was that, like, I wanted to do it for a month as a creative challenge, and then it'd be like a fun little video. And then from day one, so like I had mentioned, I made some animations throughout February. From March 1st, I had 65 subs. By the end of the month, I had 4,300 subs. Nice. And my previous channel that I put 7 years of effort into had 1,300 subs. Yep. So I was like, okay, we're going to do this now. And so I threw out Flipnotes Volume 1 on April 1st, which, by the way, I hope people make an exception. April 1st of this year is the only day I've not uploaded an animation. That's the one exception, because I finished the month and then I was hesitant during that day if I wanted to continue it. So I ended up not making an animation. And then April 2nd, I continued.
I mean, I think people can make the lone exception. Just say April Fool's, no animation.
Yeah. But if not, if I got too many haters, I'll be like, okay, we're doing it till April 1st, whatever, Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely insane. Like, especially like you said, this started off being just like a side thing. That became more or less like the thing that is people know you for and absolutely love and cannot get enough of. And the fact that you've committed yourself to basically doing one every single day up to this point is impressive on its own. Like, I know it's simple, 10-second video or whatnot, but like it's especially doing something every single day for that long is never an easy task in the first place. Like you had said, like the ideas aspect alone has been a challenge here and there and such. But it also makes me curious, like of all the videos you've been able to do so far, do you have a personal favorite one?
Yes, I've been asked this a lot. I do. So I've been doing for a couple months like a weekly stream called Flipnote Friday. I show my process live from beginning. Most of the time I'll have like the audio recorded, but like in last week's instance, I try to do for the most part beginning to end. You see my entire process, and it's usually while I'm streaming, so I'll like be talking to people. So I'm like on and off animating. It's usually like 2 hours, but in that I get asked a lot, like, hey, like basically what you just asked. So, what was your question again, by the way?
What is your personal favorite one so
okay,
far?
Yeah. So I get asked that like a ton, and it's probably I've done a little thinking about it, and it's definitely not one it's one that's flown under a lot of people's radar. It's called Batman's First Magic Show, and I implore you to watch it and tell me what you think of it, because it's like honestly genius level joke that I made compared to my normal content. Batman's First Magic Show.
Hold on,
that's what it's called.
You know what? We're gonna do a live reaction right here, right now. I'm gonna pull up the YouTube channel because I've seen a lot of your stuff, and I have my own personal favorite. It's honestly one that you posted recently. It's the math one. Just because I love just because I love how simple it is. Like, what's 2 plus 2? 4. What's 5 plus 5? 10. What's 9 plus 10? I didn't even say 21. Yeah, but you were thinking it like that. That's the kind of level of humor that I love from your content. Just something like as silly as that, just being like, it's just insane. I cannot get enough of it. But let me see if I can find this Batman's First Magic Show, because I feel like I've seen it, but
it was April 22nd. It was like really early into it. It was like before I even had been doing it for 2 months, I think.
Well, let's go all the way back to about, let's see, should be about here. I'm gonna find this thing, I swear.
I could have just sent you the video. I feel like I would have saved.
You could have, but again,
I'm looking at it right now.
You could have, but you know what? This is a live reaction right here, and you're gonna get the reaction from start to finish.
You gotta earn the watch. You gotta dig for it.
You've gotta earn this. All right, I found it. I'll see if the microphone can pick it up. It'll probably at least catch it up on my microphone. I don't know if it'll catch up on Discord, but let's see this thing. Batman's First.
You're free. I'm allowing you to throw it up on the screen for visual context if you need to.
I love it.
Well, Batman's excited. Batman's never been to a magic show before. Alright, everyone. For my next trick, I'm going to make this woman disappear. Presto! Where is she? Where is she? What have you done? What have you done?
I love it so much. That's my favorite of all time.
It's great, and I get that. I get the reference immediately because, like, I'm a person that loved The Dark Knight, like the movie growing up. So, where is she?
What have you done?
Oh, that's fantastic. Oh,
and it's like not even like it's like way under what the normal videos were performing at that time. So it's like it's always the ones that like I think a lot of artists could probably relate that a lot of their least followed works or like least viewed are probably going to be their favorites.
Oh my goodness, I cannot tell you the amount of like for this podcast alone, I cannot tell you the amount of episodes alone that like I wish more people got a chance to see because the conversation were incredible, but it's not like, just not enough people just clicked on it. Like, for example, connecting to you in a way, a guest I had on the podcast recently, Alex Rochon. We had a fantastic conversation, like talking to the voice of Kane or whatnot. I thought that like just being associated with the Amazing Digital Circus alone, like that video would get like 1,000 views or whatnot. I think at the time we were recording, it's sitting at like 410 or something like that, like 410 views, which isn't bad compared to some of the views on this channel. But like in comparison, my most viewed video was another great conversation with Dubus Goobus, and that has over like 30,000 views. Like, like the dichotomy between the two, like it amazes me, but also like, obviously I'm glad that people loved it and enjoyed it and want to keep watching that kind of stuff, but also like check out this conversation too, or check out this video. It's a good one. It's one I enjoy.
You know what's crazy is like, I want to double check before I say this. I straight up have never seen a video from Dubus Goobus.
Really?
Yeah, I'm ashamed to say that because like I'm looking at it and I'm like, the thumbnails are like that. I get the vibe already.
Like I feel like, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like at least like the sense of humor that Dubas presents or whatnot, it's right up your alley. Like more than anything.
I think people have referenced. Okay, I'm subscribed. I got some homework to do.
Yes,
I'm gonna watch this guy's stuff later.
There's so many incredible videos. In fact, I was watching a few of them before leading up into here. The Winnie the Pooh stuff is actually really hilarious. Anything with Sonic is gonna be fun. Like you could spend hours of a day just like going through his videos, I can tell you that much. Because and they're like short cartoons as well, so I mean there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Which also leads me to another interesting point now I'm thinking about it, like especially from when you first started on, you know, with flip notes or whatnot back in February to where you are right now. I think another thing that I've noticed is that like the more you've done, the more fluid your animation is getting. Like is that something that you've also noticed as well, just like how much better you're getting with animation in general?
Yeah, I think so. I think if I really wanted to get better at animation, I could like, you know, not have a time limit and just take however much time I need on something, which is actually like I am planning to make some sort of longer form content in the future. I might end up a year from now as a storytime YouTuber. I might not. Okay. I feel like storytime YouTuber has a baggage to it, but it would literally be videos talking about stories from my past. So I guess by definition, that's what that would be. But like, that would probably help a lot because that would be like I have like 30 hours I can sink into this instead of 45 minutes, you know, and there'd be a big quality difference. But I hope I showed like, you know, I've kind of done stuff like to answer the core of your question, though, I think just doing something over and over, like animating every day, like, yes, I have undoubtedly, if you literally just scrub through my channel in the first 2 months, you can just look at the thumbnails and tell like the style was there. Mm-hmm. Like it took grasp really, really quickly after like 60 to 90 days of doing this. I had my animation style locked in. My stickmen used to have faces and round heads, and they very quickly, I was like, I'm very limited into what expressions I can show on a faceless stickman, so why don't I just squish their heads down when they get like frustrated or they're yelling or something? Like it makes sense. There's not a lot more you can do there, so like it just kind of became the thing. And luckily it was like right when Gamblecore took off, it was like a couple weeks into me nailing that. Otherwise, the Gamblecore guy could have very well had just a normal round head. Who knows? In a different timeline.
I mean, I think the squished head is honestly like a better choice because, like you said, it gives you like, you know, you could deflate it a little bit more if it's like sad or angry, or you can like raise it up a little more to express like excitement or whatnot. Like it's something so simple, so subtle, but like it goes a long way when it comes to like what you want to do.
Absolutely, yeah.
It also leads me to another question. I know you have like a list of some ideas that you want to tackle or whatnot. Is there one in particular that you really want to try to do, but damn it, it's just hard for you to get started and figure out how you want to tell that idea?
Like for longer form content or just like a general like flip note idea?
I would say, yeah, flip note, longer form, just in general. Like, is there an idea that you've had for a video that you've wanted to tackle for like the longest time, but it's just like, you know, for one reason or another, it's just hard to take that first step to get it done?
For a while, I'll say like in an example that's like it's been done, but it was in limbo for a while, and this was mostly on my part, is that me and Zane Little had like, first of all, like we talk a lot now, into like shortly after me actually getting to know him, talk to him for a while, he kind of pitched an idea for a flip note where like we'd make two different versions. It'd start with my character, and then his character would infiltrate it, and then vice versa for the other person's channel. Right. And he did his part, and I was just like, it seemed like such a daunting task to do because I was like, I had the pressure now of like someone else is relying on me to finish this. And I don't know, well, like you would think that pressure would push me to do it, but I like held on to it for a really long time. And then he was eventually like, dude, are you going to get this done? And I'm like, okay, I'll do it. And then I sporadically, he sent me that in the morning, and I had it done in like 2 hours. I was like completely done with everything. And I was like, I don't know why I was fearing this when like the whole channel vision's just been like, if you're bad at animation, it doesn't matter. Do animation anyways, L ratio, you know, type thing. So it actually worked out really well because, you know, I don't know if you've seen Magic Pill. Yes. Or like on there's been 2 different versions. I hope you've seen both because both of them turned out really well.
Yeah, I saw your version of it that started with you, and then I saw Zane's as well. Like, you know, that ended with you.
Yeah, actually, looking at it now, like as of recording this, it's only been like a month ago, so it doesn't seem that long. But I swear, like that idea, he sent me his flip note. That like basically, you know, I have to physically like transfer. It's called a ppm file, is the file extension for Flipnotes. So he sent me that, and then I had it on my system for like a month and a half, 2 months, and didn't do anything with it, and finally was just like pushed to do it. And I'm like, I apologize to him for the wait, but I'm like, I shouldn't have anybody like waiting on me this long ever again to do this. I need to lock in. And like it was also during a phase where like I was in like a bit of a, I don't want to say like a post gamblecore depression, but I was almost like I was kind of dreading doing animation a little bit during that time. Not that like I hated it, but I'm like, oh, I'm really like, I hit the realization. I'm like, I'm really like doing this every day for like hundreds of days. Right. And I was just like more like standoffish, like avoiding doing it until like the last possible minute, which honestly is more of a symptom of ADHD, if anything, because like I fight with procrastination on every element of my life, dude. Like I had to apply for like a new car tag. I literally waited till the last day until like I legally had to do it. Yep. And I was like, I should not have to do this this way. Because the stress never goes away until you get it done. And it just builds and builds and builds until like I did this all the time in college. I would type up college papers 2 hours before they were due and somehow get an A on them because I got really good at like locking in and like being really good at doing something, but only when I absolutely needed to. But it shouldn't come to that, you know, like a lot of times, like the reason I've gotten so good at Flipnotes is like, I want to animate the thing. It's a like work smart, not hard mentality, right? Like if there's a faster way I can do something, why waste time on it? Like just do it faster if there's a faster way to do it. And then you have more free time, which I really appreciate because I'm a gamer. I like gaming. So anytime I can hop on web fishing, you know, that's my grind right now. It's a wrestle between Flipnote and catching those virtual fish, man.
That should be your gaming video that you need for tomorrow, just like web fishing. So yeah, you can get that.
I was considering it for a while. I had like Zane Little and some others where like we can just all be in a group and do it. And like that's another thing. Like I've noticed nobody's fault particularly, but like everybody has different things going on. Yep. A lot of animator friends of mine are in different time zones and stuff. So like when I'm on, you know, I have a friend of mine, Owie Brain Hurts. I don't know if you know who that is. She's like a storytime YouTuber, does kind of like a Flipnote aesthetic. Okay. We'd be fishing and it'd be like 3 a.m. for her or something, or like we'd try to plan out a video and like somebody else had something going on, and like I tend to keep in mind like I'm very fortunate because I have been full-time on YouTube, but there are so many people with like jobs and they're doing animation on the side, which honestly I was for a while. I didn't quit my job till late August, almost like right before I turned 25. So yeah.
Goodness. Like here I am 28 still working my warehouse job and such. And
hey, look, I say that, but look, I have done a lot. I worked at a warehouse over the summer, and honestly, I respect that because I actually vibed with the job a lot. Like I genuinely liked working a warehouse job. Dude, I lost like, it was like in 2021 I got this job, and from like March of that year I made the goal. I'm like going to go to the gym, work out, whatever. And then that plus like when I started my warehouse job, I stopped going to the gym entirely because like that was like physically demanding. I dropped like 34 pounds over that summer. Good. Like really quick because I was walking like 11 miles a day. It was like I don't want to reveal a whole ton of details about that job, but like The vibes were good, people were nice, and that just motivated me to do my job. Everybody was just like, clock in, do your job, clock out. There were always some good conversations going on at work, like while we were working, so that was fun. It was like being on a podcast for 8 hours almost. You know, think about it like that, and just be like, you know, next time you go to your warehouse job shift, just be like, it's like I'm doing a podcast with people for 8 hours, but then like in between moving boxes and stuff.
I was gonna say, where I currently work at, I move a lot of like tractor parts and whatnot. But there was a time to where I was at a beer distribution place or whatnot, and like,
oh sweet,
yeah. So whenever you were
did you get a shifty?
A shifty?
That's like a free beer you get on your shift. It's a thing apparently.
No, so the way that my distribution place worked or whatnot, like if you were to get like something, it either had to be one, stuff that they just couldn't sell, or like something expired, or two, you had to like buy it, but at the very least it was like at like the base price, not like the up price that you
like
get.
Wholesale price.
Wholesale price. There you go.
Nice.
It's one of those, like, if we accidentally like damaged like a package of beer or whatnot, they would just take all the good ones, wash it up, and keep it in this little storage room so that, like, you know, on Friday or whatnot, they could just find all the ones that they could remake into packages and then ship that out if they could, because we got like and stuff. So yeah, it was a good job. It was just like, you know, there was talks of like the truck drivers getting a raise, but not the forklift operators getting a raise, that were like stacking the beers and getting it ready for the truck drivers and such.
I get you.
Yeah, just it's a whole entire thing. That's why I'm glad where I'm at now.
I was very, very close to getting forklift certified, because I'm like, that'd be so sick to tell my friends I can drive a forklift. That was like my main good thing. I was like, I'm gonna just do it for the vibes. I'm like, I may not drive a forklift, but dang, it's so easy to get a certification these days.
It really is.
Like pay like $20 or something, and then I can have a shirt that says forklift certified. Like that was a trend. I saw so many Instagram ads for that, like right after my job, and I'm like, that could have been me.
It should have been me, not them. Me.
Me.
I was gonna say, like, here's the thing for me. I didn't have to pay to get forklift certified. Like, it just got to a certain point where it's like I was on the job. So the place I currently work at, when I was first working there, I wasn't forklift certified, but I was also working like overnight shift. So I would
me too, dude.
Yeah, there you go. So you know the mentality, you know.
Yeah. So it's like a 5 p.m. to 1 a.m., dude.
Oh wow, that's interesting for you. For me, it was like 9:30 p.m. to like 6 a.m. or something like that.
Okay.
So yeah.
Guess it depends on the place.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it varied, and even then, they eventually got rid of that shift. And then I was put on this different shift to where I was working 10 a.m. to like 6:30 p.m. But then like the boss that implemented that shift and got rid of the overnight shift, the manager, I have to say, he got fired like 2 or 3 days after they implemented this new shift. So it's like, why are we even here? Because he had just got hired on. He didn't even last 4 months before he got fired. Yeah, it was a wild time at that workplace. That's why I initially left that place, worked at the beer stacking place, and then left that to go back to the workplace that I'm currently at, because, you know, it's a lot more stable now.
Hey, you got it locked in though, man. I mean, honestly, working night shift, I guess at this point in my life, I can like kind of choose when I work, but honestly, there was nothing better than me like going home and like even during the summer, because I worked it over the summer, and it'd be like 60 degrees outside and I was chilling. It was like no cars on the road. I'd just turn the music on, like I'd crank the radio or put on Spotify or something, and just it'd be like I'd listen to like lo-fi music all the way back. And I will never forget that era of my life, because it was like such a vibe, knowing, you know, a hard day's work, you got that bag, you're good to go, you know.
It was such a good mentality. I know like for me, when I was working the overnight shift, one, I would ride with my dad because we both work at the same place. Same shift and all that kind of stuff. But like, you know, going to work, there wasn't that much traffic. Going back home when everyone else was going to their jobs, like it wasn't as much traffic going back home. So it was just like, it was nice. It was a good vibe. I had so many good conversations with my dad. Like it was a dream when it was overnight. But
right on, dude.
Yeah, it was definitely a vibe, but we've gone way off the path at this point. I love podcasts. I love when we can.
I love it. We're gonna be saying that. I have a feeling I see a trend here where we're gonna say, anyway, back to the discussion.
It just kind of more or less like leads me to also ask, like, you know, again, we talked about all these different aspects or whatnot. I also got to ask real quickly, it has to be, considering how big you've more or less made it and how interactive you try to be with your audience and whatnot, there's got to be a ton of ideas that your audience has pitched to you as well. It's like, hey, it'd be funny if you do this kind of episode or this kind of thing.
Yeah, they have, and like it's hard for me to say this without sounding like a jerk, and I mean well by it.
Yeah.
But like I try to like the channel started as just it was like me just brainstorming on my own, and like people do have pretty good ideas, but I try to say it in the nicest way when somebody brings it up, but I'm like, good, I'm just doing my own thing. I got some ideas planned, but I appreciate the idea. It's like it's more of like I want to say a moral dilemma, but like I try to stay as close to the core value of my channel of just like keeping it original and like trying to do this year of content without any external input, just like locking in, staying in my lane, doing what I need to do. But yeah, there has been a ton of ideas, and there's been obviously like a lot of the edits of my work and stuff, and like people have done their own spin on things, and that element of it has been like really cool, and I do appreciate like everybody who takes the time to like pitch an idea or something. But it's really hard to just tell someone no, like no, I'm not taking your idea even though it's great. Like it's more of like just like my value, how I value like the channel of just staying core to like what I want to do. That also branches to like, going back to what I did years ago on YouTube, is I actually had a lot of like creative control issues with like the channel I ran with those 3 other people. We did a gaming channel, and it became a very heated thing because like I'd just be like, bros, like I'm the only one uploading right now, like can it just be my channel? And they refused to like just let me like have the channel. So it's definitely a little, I want to call that trauma or anything, but it's like I've had a bad experience working with like other people before, like taking ideas from other people. So I'm almost like hoarding it, like, no, this is my thing, I started. It had a wholesome beginning. I want to keep it. It's like if I start changing stuff or feeling like I have to like up the ante, I think that's when the content's not going to be like how it is now. It's more of like, it's almost like you know how like certain artists are like real particular about how they record an album, like they just isolate themselves in the studio and they sleep in the studio and they don't leave. I feel like there's a metaphor there to like how I do my stuff. There's a similarity.
It's not that you don't appreciate other people's ideas in the first place, because obviously it's good to see people getting creative and imagining that kind of stuff. I'm
more of a like, I like working alone person when it comes to animation. Obviously there are instances where like I collab with other people and like there's a time and place for that, but I'm like very particular about how I do it.
No, that's honestly extremely understandable at the end of the day. Again, like I said, it's not like you don't appreciate what other people are doing. You're not appreciating the creativity that they have. It's just you started this thing as a challenge for yourself to be as creative on your own terms doing these animations. You want to kind of keep it that way.
Yeah, and like I know a lot of artists. Like I follow artists on Twitter, YouTube, like all these platforms, and I do look at their comments. And like I'm clearly not the only one that gets constant suggestions. Yeah. And I'm sure a lot of them do have a similar take on it, where they're like, I like the idea. I'm just like doing my own thing here. Like I appreciate it. It's hard because like these are fans of your work. You don't want to tell them the wrong thing and then like have someone who hates you or anything. And I'm also like, I'm a little paranoid about it because I'm like a little paranoid that like someone would hate me for like a thing I say and not really mean anything by it, but it's like taking the wrong way, I guess that's a battle with a lot of artists. I don't know. I'm definitely not the first person to have to deal with something like that. Right. But I think it's very cool. I'm in a position where I have a community that's like very interactive and wants to pitch stuff like that. Especially like I said, I do live streams, and that's when I get a majority of it, and it's rolling in real time.
No, absolutely, I get that. Me as I put away my pitches far away. No, I'm joking. No, but like, speaking.
Can you do a flipnote where the guy explodes and then he eats a chicken wing and then he explodes again?
Why'd you sound like Fred Burger for a second there?
Oh no.
Now I was gonna say, can you do like podcast?
I was almost going for like an Oni Plays thing.
Oh,
can you do a flipnote where the guy eats a crayon?
And all of a sudden he's the rainbow.
Yeah.
Now,
You're hired.
I'm hired. Oh shit. Okay, let me get moving. I'll get packaged up. Clyde, you're coming with me. No. No, but I speaking of that community, like I know we kind of illustrated with just gamblecore alone, but as a whole, since you've really started raxdflipnote like as a YouTube channel, it has to be amazing, kind of the community and like the reaction to be able to get for your animations and your content as a whole. Like it's gotta be surreal and stunning just to see what started off as just a creative challenge for you, kind of elevated into this like fun, strong community that's been supporting you ever since.
Yeah, I think it's wild, and like an exception for, eventually there'll be a time and place, and every YouTuber, evolves their content. I definitely don't want to be doing just Flipnote stuff forever. I like that element of it, but I think I could do more stuff in the future. But for the most part, like having a big community just to like I'm shocked when my stuff really started taking off. I was really paranoid that like Instagram and TikTok are those platforms where like if somebody doesn't like your stuff, you're gonna know about it. Yep. You're gonna see in your comments. People will clown it. They will destroy you in the comments on these platforms. And I'm fortunate that like when I was seeing Gamblecore take off and like I read through the comments and there was like thousands of comments and like 2 hate comments. Yeah. And I was like, that's crazy. Like I seriously, maybe it's because I'm paranoid, but like I'm somebody I've had my eras where I'm like terminally online, where I like doom scroll for like 2 hours on my phone. Right. It's a problem. I do way better about it being on like the producer end of the content. I'm not the one. I don't really watch as much as I used to. I typically animate and then I get off my computer and I go drive around or shopping or do something. But it's kind of crazy that. Like, I'm not trying to jinx myself, knock on wood, but like, I don't think I have that many haters, and that's kind of nice. But like, also, you would hope that like if somebody follows you, they're not just gonna like hate follow you and like say mean things to you. Which like, dude, I've been on the internet for years. Even if I had like far more haters than I do now, I feel like I could take it. I've definitely developed some thick skin. Where like. People in live streams have said stuff to try to like piss me off, and it's not even phased me. I'm just like, okay, man, like have fun with your campaign there.
Why don't you gamble with that hate comment and just lose yourself out of the stream?
Yeah, that'd be insane to say. No, it's well, the problem is too, like if you would, the problem is like acknowledging it in the first place is what's gonna fuel them to do it, and like I know that. 100%, and I generally don't say, even if somebody's being like super over parasocial of like I love your comment or like I love your content, OMG you're the best YouTuber, I'm just like thanks man. Yeah, or just like not you don't have to. I appreciate it, but like there is like every person should have like a boundary they draw with their audience. Like you can't have people get parasocial and stuff. Like my Discord server for my stuff, I'm not gonna lie, kind of in shambles because it's just a lot of people having like unrelated conversations, and like I can tell a lot of my viewers probably have ADHD like I have, and there's a lot of elements to it, but I like generally just don't really talk in my Discord server at all. Like other than like once a week. But yeah, it's just become a thing where like the smaller of an audience you have, the more like you can actually interact with people in your audience to like respond to comments. And like I'll just heart a couple comments per video, but I'm very like standoffish now. And part of that could just become like paranoid, and also like I don't want to be the guy that gets canceled for like interacting with their audience or something. Yep. like dude, I don't know what someone's intentions are. If they're trying to send me a DM and the second I reply to it they're gonna they have ill intent or something. So the safest thing for you to do is just not respond to a lot of it.
Absolutely. I totally understand that mentality.
By the way, that has always been an underlying paranoid thing for me, is like I'm gonna get canceled for something and I didn't even know I did anything wrong. Like I just like made a joke or something in a Flipnote and somebody's like that offended me, and like I'm like it's not been a thing I've thought about a whole lot, but like you do, the larger your audience grows, you have to be extremely careful what you say online just in general. Right. But I'm glad that I make content where like it's family friendly. It's just like harmless jokes about stupid stuff. It doesn't, I've never had that experience. So I'm glad once again, like the content I've chosen to make is like I'm not like a drama slop channel, you know. I'm not I'm not doing like, oh, this YouTuber said this, OMG, and like feeding the flames.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
honestly, I think a lot of people are probably sick of that type of content. But like, I'm just in my lane, man. I'm just making content, and then I'm living my life outside of YouTube, trying to.
I would say you watch. There's gonna be that one person that sees Burger Man and just says like, excuse me, my father was a burger. This offends me egregiously. How
Yeah,
dare
and then
you?
it's over. It's over. Career over.
Career's
Pack it
over.
up, guys.
You just have to make like an apology video. You get the ukulele. He's like, I'm going to be vegan now. There will be no more mention of Burger Man in the future. Uh, but regardless, like especially considering like all the stuff that we've been able to talk about, and you know the wild and insane journey of just the past 8 months alone. Hell, even past that, for the past 8 to 10 years, they've been trying to make content and such. Thinking all the way back to like you said you were in the elementary school, like learning movie maker and such. Considering the art journey that you've been able to take on alone, does it amaze you more or less how much you've been able to develop as an artist and as an entertainer?
Yeah, I'd say so. And it's not like I don't know. I kind of have a short answer for this, but like, yeah, just in general, I feel like I've said this a lot actually that and I'm kind of I will credit where credit is due. I watch the Weekly Slap. That's one of Jay Schlatt's channels.
Yeah.
And he mentioned this. If he blew up on YouTube, like he basically same message I'm trying to convey here. If he blew up on YouTube like year one, it would have ruined him. Like as a kid, getting sudden fame would like mess with your head, dude. And like, I mean, it's like it's certainly affected me emotionally one way or another, like in some way. You know, obviously I can't just pretend like I don't have 1.2 million on YouTube. Like that is a crazy number. But like I've been on YouTube, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, and then 2024 is the year I finally took off. It's not like I don't have experience doing this. I've had, granted, I don't have a lot of experience having like a mass like influx of people watching stuff. That was new, but I think I had a more calm approach to it when stuff started taking off. I'm like, okay, like I'm glad people are watching it, so let's just keep the content train rolling and keep doing stuff. And I hope it can lead in the future to bigger projects. But generally, it helps. Just like I don't really think about it too hard. I just keep I keep making the video. I'm a very routine based person, as a lot of people are, and just I wake up, go to the gym, come back, make my flipnote. That's about it, and then just do whatever else. But like, yeah, if I blew up pretty much any time between the year I started and like COVID era, I think I just would have not known. It would have been overwhelming.
Right.
I was like, it was almost like, I've heard a lot of YouTubers say this, and I can verify. It feels like it's a dream you're not waking up from, because it doesn't feel real. It never will feel real. I don't think I'll never come to terms with the fact that I actually made content that successfully took off. Because I did it for so many years, I came to terms with just like, no one's going to watch my stuff, but I'm going to keep making it. And as an artist, I think there's a lot to be said about like YouTube and a lot of other platforms want you just to keep getting views so that they can make more money. I mean, from a business standpoint, sure, like pop off king, I guess. But like in general, you shouldn't let, and it's raxdflipnote saying this, he has 1 million subscribers. It's like, yeah, but like I didn't. And last year or the year before or the year before that, when I was working my butt off like 50 hours to make a video essay that I knew only 200 people would watch, if I was lucky, like that was on a good day. But I didn't really like, when I started, that was the main priority. I want to become viral. I want to become a YouTube star. I want to be able to live off this. And then year after year, I kind of put that to the side, and I'm just like, I would just want to make fun stuff with my friends and have a good time doing it. And like, I come from a heavy video editing background, especially in 2016. I was coming home from high school almost every day and recording something and editing it. And that was all I did in my free time, just because I loved it. And I think that's it's a little poetic. It's something to be said about like, dude, just do something because you love it. I know that's like probably an overstated thing, but like it's so true. Like, don't let YouTube think you have to get a bajillion views, man. Like this podcast is a perfect example, dude. Like you've had some amazing guests on. You've learned a lot from people, and it's been, it's a great experience. You've been doing this for a while. I'm looking at the channel right now. Like
I've been doing this since September of 2020.
I can tell it's something you genuinely enjoy, and like that's how it should be. That's how like anybody just treat it like a creative project. And just do it. Just do it. I don't know. There's nothing else to be said about that.
Well, first off, thank you for the kind words and stroking my ego for just a little bit more.
Oh yeah, you're welcome.
But yeah, you got a point. Like, ever since I've at least started this creative endeavor, the goal whenever I started this was never I'm gonna be famous, I'm gonna live off of this stuff. That was always kind of like, it'd be nice if I get to that point. It'd be nice if I could do this kind of stuff. But for me, it was always getting to have these incredible conversations with artists such as yourself and just have a good time, talking about the random stuff, whether it be the content themselves or how to be forklift certified, like we talked about halfway through the podcast.
Yeah, I still might do it. I still might do it for content now. I'll be like, getting my forklift certification, not clickbait. Cops called, almost arrested.
Do it. That should be your first story time video right there.
There we go. I'm forklift certified, and it's just me standing arms crossed by a forklift.
There you go. But like, God, I lost my train of thought. No, like I like, as cool as it would be to have that kind of viral thing or whatnot, if I got famous off of that first video or the first couple videos or whatnot, I have no idea how I'd react. So I can especially understand for you doing it for this long and only recently having it pop off with, raxd flipnote. Like I get where you're coming from, and I appreciate that, like, more than anything else, you're saying humble about this entire situation. Not just because, you've got that 1 million subs right now, you're like, yep, no one can touch me. I am completely untouchable. No, you're just like, I'm doing this for fun, and it's cool that people are enjoying it alongside me. That's something I love and appreciate.
I mean, that's the only way I feel like I can deal with it in a way where, like, I'm not losing my mind over everything. Yeah. It's kind of been like there's been the initial instinct, like I hit like 100K and I'm like, oh my God, like I can get a silver play button now. This is crazy. I've like, this has been my childhood dream. And I'm like, well, yeah, but it's happened now. So like, just chill. Like you've done the hard part. Just keep making content.
I'm still waiting to get there at some point. Like at the time we're recording this, I'm at 1,800 and something. So I mean, like I'll hopefully get there someday, but if not, I'm having fun. That's all that matters.
Yeah. I will say there's a thing to be said, and again, like I regurgitate a lot of stuff I hear from YouTubers, and honestly, there's been a lot of YouTubers. We're at a time now where like YouTube's changing, a lot of stuff's happening in the world, and people are making these real like sit down, talk to the camera as an honest human being type videos, and dude, they hit so much harder for me now because like I can relate to everything they're talking about because they're in the same position I am, where they like have a giant audience watching. And Jacksepticeye just made a video talking about how like everybody's like arguing now, like everything's so polarized. Everyone just wants to have an argument and like rage bait each other into having a angry discussion with each other, and it like doesn't have to be that. No. It's like older internet was so simple, and it's kind of a tangent of its own, but you get what I'm saying. It's like this is a better time than ever to like just tune out everything and just like focus on what you want to do.
Yeah.
And find happiness from it, whether it takes I mean, I'm sure your channel's probably heading in a positive direction. I mean, you might not get 10 million subscribers or whatever, but like it's you have an audience watching. And honestly, I kind of miss it now, ironically looking back. Like now the years I had under 1,000 subs, just a few hundred, but I had a pretty actively watching audience. And like I knew like probably like 100 people or so would watch my stuff. Still felt great because I was like, I'm putting this out just to entertain people, and there's an audience to watch it, and that's pretty cool. Just like I'm gonna sound like an old man, but saying this, but just think about that. Like 20 years ago, you could not do this.
Right.
You could not even make money off of like. It was very hard to make money off the internet, granted. But like YouTube, in a sense, is just like. Their whole motto is broadcast yourself. It's just about like, you can make some form of art and then put it out on the internet, and it'll be exposed to like a large audience or a group of people, and they'll all watch it, which is pretty crazy.
is absolutely insane, especially at the end of the day. Especially with how weird YouTube has been these days, like with what they want to emphasize, what they want to promote, the types of content, the way they change their algorithm like 20 different ways or whatnot, trying to appease advertisers and all that kind of stuff. When at the end of the day, it should just basically be that original slogan: broadcast yourself. You want to put out there something that's fun and entertaining that you think that other people can enjoy, just do that. Have a good time. Have a blast. Obviously,
yeah. It's like it sounds so cheesy, but like I'm on the other end of this thing now. Like I've spent years, I've been making stuff and came to terms with just like, if I'm not doing this for fun, why am I doing it? It's like any career that you fall into, forget YouTube, just like even literally any profession. It's like if you're not doing it because you genuinely enjoy it. I mean, I know people have scenarios where like I know I have friends where like their parents box them into like, you have to do this. Yeah. You have to be a doctor or whatever. And it wasn't something they want to do. And like, I want to say they're miserable, but like, they're like, I just wish everybody had the opportunity, and it was like, just you should pursue literally whatever you want to do. And I guess a lot of people's like true passion originate from like, they have a job or something and they're doing it on the side, because that's what it was for me, dude. I was still making content throughout high school. I had those SAT exams I had to study for. I was still making content in between studying for like hour blocks. I'd be editing, booting up Sony Vegas Pro, editing. I had to deal with college. I had to deal with like, I lost a car. My car got stolen. I was in a car accident. I like a bunch of stuff has happened in my life that I had to work around.
Goodness.
I really brushed over that, but yeah,
just
the
a
time
little.
my car got stolen, it was like, by the way, the like quick story. Right before I went to SGDQ, which is in Minneapolis, I'm sure you know about it. It's like the big speedrunning convention
right.
that everyone watches on Twitch. You could go to the physical event. So I already had gotten a ticket and everything, and I was getting some snacks to take, like pack in my suitcase and bring to the event. And I have a parking garage I park, and my car was just gone. And I had a car that was unfortunately really easy to break into historically. Oh, wow. There was a thing trending on TikTok where people were like breaking into cars, and you could basically use a USB to start the engine if they had a USB port in them. So it was just, but my point of saying that is that like I've had stuff happen that like I'd had to work around. I was juggling going to school part-time while having a part-time job, while wanting to do YouTube, while figuring out what I wanted to actually do with college and what I wanted to graduate with. And life stuff, man. Yeah. You gotta just do it. You gotta lock in and do it.
Absolutely. And yet here you are now, locking in on a whole different aspect of it, but still having a good fun time at the end of the day. But for this next question, if I may, what if we lock in a little bit more? Let's go a little above and beyond, Rax, and I want to give you more or less the dream scenario, if I may. Let's say I am Big Shot Mr. Moneybags. I come up to him like, look, Rax, we've seen the stuff you've been able to produce and present out there, and we cannot get enough of it. We feel like there's more there. You just need a little extra, extra push, a little extra platform to get you to that point. We have access to everyone and anyone, whatever field possible, and more money than should be possible. We really should be compensating the animators that are currently, trying to renegotiate, try to get that new contract so that they can get, health insurance, all stuff like that. # Sam with animation.
Yes, absolutely.
But, for the time being, we'll get to them. We promise we'll get to them. But right now, we are focusing on you and you alone. If given this opportunity, what would be the dream raxd flipnote project?
Well, okay, so I'm in an interesting position because you have other, like, I'm not the first generation of YouTuber, right? You have basically all these people that have trialed and error stuff. You have so many YouTubers that have sold out, and like, bro, like I don't know what to cite as an example, but like the Smosh movie, right? Like, I don't think I'd make a movie. I don't know. I think I've never really thought about this, but also like my dream scenario, big picture, was just like be a YouTuber.
Okay.
like so if we're talking about in the sense of like, actually now that you mention it, if we're talking about like in the scheme of like where I am now, I would genuinely like to network myself with like voice actors, get into voice acting. I feel like I have a decent range of impressions I can do. I'm not going to do them now because I'm too nervous, but I have a video editing background. My original thing I was going to college for, I wanted to be a video editor for a movie company or something, or just be I know there's video editors who they basically work for a company that has clients, and they basically just send them like project after project. You keep the work coming. And all that stuff paid really well, which was convenient because like I really liked doing it and it seemed like solid work. And then, I was a year out of college, and I'm getting into the story, but basically like I was heading in that direction, and I still don't think that like my success on YouTube should deter me from doing like my all-time career goal. But like for the next year or two, I think I'm chilling. I'm in my mid-20s. It's not like I'm having a midlife crisis like, oh, I need to switch to something else right now. But like if you're talking about like scenario where I have infinite connections and stuff, honestly, I'd just like to start doing like voice acting or video editing, one of those things. Just even if it was like, still doing YouTube, which ideally that's what I'd want to do, is just have a slew of like 3 or 4 different projects I'd be working on, or like types of work I was doing just for fun. In fact, I was a podcast editor up until a couple months ago, and I had always done that for like since like 2022. I was always doing that on the side. Okay. It's just an occasional thing where it's like, oh, I just do this, if I had time on like a Friday afternoon or something. And I love that type of work that it's like you can just do it by project, and like you can determine how much work you want to do, and you can scale it up as high as you want to do it. Like honestly, it'd be like, I think if I was doing like a voice acting gig like a month, like sure, that's awesome. I'd be pretty happy. I don't, as I get older, my kind of dream scenario is changing. Not that it's been diminished, but like honestly, since I was probably 17, I was like, yeah, I want to be big time video editor. But I mean, in a sense, being a YouTuber and getting to edit my own stuff is kind of close to that. Yeah. So, and honestly, yeah, where I am now is pretty good. But just like, just TLDR, just starting a couple other projects that would be fun to do on the side. Those prominent two being video editing and voice acting. Yeah. That's final answer.
Final answer. We're locking that in. No, I will say, when it comes to the voice acting thing, trust me, I'm kind of in the same boat as well. Like you heard the few impressions I was able to just bust out, throughout the episode or whatnot.
That Patrick impression was flawless.
I appreciate that. That genuinely means a lot. But like, I just need to sit down and like, one, try some more, but also like, get together like a voice reel or demo reel, something like that, and just put it out there. And I feel like, especially with you, with like some of the connections you already have and some of the connections you could be making, it can be very easy for you to really get into that voice acting field. I was gonna say, ironically enough, one of my buddies, whenever I told them about this interview that I was gonna be having, Tay Draws, they have a little shitpost series that's supposed to be like the same as a Kojin House, I think it's what it's called. It's called the Asylum. And they were like, dude, if you could tell Rax to, like, if you could ask Rax if he wants to be on an episode, like, we would totally have him on.
So, sick, dude.
So, I mean, I could definitely make that connection if you're interested. But, I mean, even then, like, with what, don't say, I will say, you said you were nervous to present some of your impressions. I will say, your Bluey impression, spot on. Flawless.
Hey, it's me, Bluey, from the show Bluey. How you going? How you doing?
Exactly.
And you know what that branches off of, like how I got the Australian accent, is Max Mofo Pokemon, him going, "Hey guys, yes. Massive legend here."
Oh, I'm glad you said Max Mofo, because again, I'm a huge fan of like cold ones and stuff, and seeing what he's been able to do with that is great. But
hey guys, today we're gonna do $1 beer versus $3 trillion beer.
Yeah, exactly.
We got these items off of Temu.
All right, today we're taking YouTuber projects, and we're just going through and just basically shitting on every single one of them.
Exactly.
But sadly, we gotta get down from the dream scenario. We gotta get back to reality, and I'll ask the ever so generic question. Where do you hope to see yourself in, say, 5 to 10 years from now?
YouTube, it could be either or for me. The main goal is like remote job, kind of like YouTube. Any remote job where I can choose my own, like generally choose my own hours, very flexible, and a lifelong goal of mine is just I want to travel. Like I want to go. In
Yes.
fact, next year I'm gonna go to Spain. I've never been to Spain. I've never been to Europe. I applied for
Oh,
my passport about a month ago. It should be here by the end of the year, but the point being, like, I have the time and resources now to where I can travel and like actually experience stuff while I'm still young. And like, I'm a firm believer that like you shouldn't wait till retirement to do stuff if you have time off or like just able to take like a weekend off like months in advance and then figure out what you want to do later, whatever you can, just to like enjoy the moment in life. Just do that. Like, you don't have to wait for anything, honestly. And I know like, and this is saying like even though I'm not in the position I was now, like a year or two ago, I had a 9 to 5 job. But I took in a philosophy. I met a family member I hadn't before. This dude's like late 30s. He's not super old,
yeah.
but he just works a basic job, but he's really, really frugal with his savings. Like he saves a lot of money. And what he does is he puts it into a travel fund. And basically, lives in a tiny house. It's not like he's got like complete like crap for his actual assets. He's got
Right.
decent car, decent house, guy in his mid 30s, but he travels a ton. Like that's his priority. He just goes places all the time, and he was fortunate. One of my big motivators is that I met him before I was doing podcast editing, which was my first glimpse into like, oh, I can do this and get paid for it, and like I can do it from home on my computer, or even if I'm not home, have a laptop and do this work wherever. And that inspired me. Is like now I'm in a position where like I can just go travel, bring a laptop with me, and I can keep animating from wherever. So it doesn't matter. I can bump out a flipnote and then go to like Madrid or something and just walk around the city. And I think that's sick. And as somebody who grew up, I kind of grew up in a bubble, and that like, I was really only allowed to like play in my neighborhood with like other kids and stuff. And like I didn't really I up until very recently I hadn't even flown. A year ago I went to Dallas, Texas, which was a great experience, and it was actually for an internship.
Oh, nice.
Um which was crazy. And then like ever since, by the way, that trip sucked. I hated I did not like my boss. Really, really mean person. I hope they don't make the connection of who I am and discover this years down the road. I'm sorry. You were very mean to me though, and it wasn't professional at all. But like, trip was horrible. But even then, I was like, oh my god, I want to travel so much now.
Right.
And like, yeah, I mean, since I've been like, really for just the GDQ events. Like I went to AGDQ in January, which was in Pittsburgh, and then I went to SGDQ a couple months ago. I think it was in July, and that was in Minneapolis, and I love both of those so much. Um, but yeah, I just like, dude, honestly, work from home job, being able to do it from wherever, that's like the dream. And there's so many jobs out there, more now than ever, especially because of COVID kind of propelled it into existence, that like so many people can work from home now
Oh
doing
yeah.
tons of stuff. Even if it's like an accounting job, like people are doing that from home. Like it's crazy the resources you have access to now for just, hopping on your computer, bumping out some work for a few hours, and then you can like just do whatever, which is pretty cool. And honestly, if I could live the rest of my life like that, like long term goal, that'd be the goal, man. Like that's all I want to do.
That's
I
something.
just want to have like freedom of location. Like I can do my work from wherever would be great.
Absolutely, that's something that I'm hoping to get to a certain point, like from where I am, because like I'm lucky enough that my job gives out like a good bit of vacation time and such, so I've been able to do that. And it's not like I haven't traveled, certain places or whatnot. Like my mom lived at Florida at one point, so again to visit down there. My dad lived in Illinois, so going to visit up there. We used to vacation in Tennessee, certain parts of it. Um, but especially in the past like a year or so, I've been given the opportunity to actually go out and not just like visit more places, but like explore opportunities I never had before. December last year, me, my mom, and her roommate, we went to New Orleans. It was the first time I ever went there, and I had a blast.
Oh, sweet!
There. I had a
I
blast.
wanted to go there for ages.
Oh, it's absolutely fun. Like it's as lively as you would think, especially Bourbon Street. But there's also like several other things you can do outside of that, to where you can have like a good time and like get to learn some cool stuff. One of my favorite places is like they have like a basically a warehouse of all the old Mardi Gras like floats and stuff that they would take down, for again for Mardi Gras and stuff, and like seeing some of those things like up close and personal is like really cool. Like it's a really interesting experience. But like I got to do that. I got to go to my first convention earlier this year, going to MomoCon in Atlanta to visit with some buddies. Dude. Like that. And like I had a blast there. I had a fantastic time.
You know what's crazy? I went to MomoCon in 2023.
Oh wow! Okay, so
it was great.
We almost had it. We almost had it right there.
I got it almost. I got a picture of me and a buddy by a guy dressed in like Master Chief and like the full armor and weapons and everything. Oh, I absolutely love it when people like go all out and do like a fun cosplay of like some kind of video game character. I'm not into like. I'm very like oblivious to a lot. If people have like a reference to like an anime or something, I'm kind of out of the loop. Mm-hmm. But like any video game stuff, I'm like, I know that character. I know that one. So,
I was gonna say, so what's funny about MomoCon, one of my favorite moments that I've talked about several times before, is I got to meet Alex Rashawn there like in person, because he was doing like a signing thing. Like he had his own table and stuff.
Oh, that's sick, dude.
And on top of that, because that was how I introduced myself to him, that's how I eventually got him to be on the podcast. But on top of that, what certainly helped with that is I gave him bootleg Digital Circus merch, because that's something that's something that he was like really into, and I had bought it at like a flea market months beforehand, thinking like, okay, it'd be cool if I can get both him and Lizzie Freeman, who also had a table. Like I want to get them both to sign it, so I can say like I've got bootleg merch, and they signed it. I gave it to Lizzie, and she was just like in shock. Like of like, oh my god, this actually exists. And it's like, I don't know if I can sign this because Gooseworks is here, and like it would just feel weird for me to like sign this thing. I'm like, you know what, that's valid, understandable. But seeing like Alex getting excited about it, like the next day I just went up to him like, you can have it, man. Like I can tell you enjoyed this, so here you go.
Yeah, that's sick. I like, dude, I'm going back to like, I made the one amazing Digital Circus float now, and that dude's just so like approachable. It was crazy how fast he responded, and like it's crazy. But the show with that much success too, to have like a voice actor, like any of the voice actors, just be open to collaborating, like speaking with fans, is like absolutely insane to me.
It's absolutely insane at the end of the day. As we start to wind down the interview, I just have really one last question I want to ask you. Obviously, you're deeply entrenched in art in one form or fashion, or another. Whether it be again like the animation that you had a hand in, or like the comics you had beforehand, to the content creation of YouTube and the process when it comes to editing, to here you are right now, again, gamblecore and all the stuff that comes along with it. How important is art, not just for you, but for the world as a whole?
Art's essential. It's like, that's such a crazy question, man. Yeah. That's such a massive scope question. But I think art, like in one shape or form, like no matter who you are, what type of person you are, you have some element of art that's in your daily life. Like whether you listen to like your favorite band on Spotify on your way to, the commute to work or school or whatever, or just like you've been to an art exhibit and seen paintings you like, or like art is such a vague thing that like it encompasses so much about the world and stuff. I think it truly is essential, and it's like one of the coolest things about just living, like the human experience, is that you can just make a thing that like has never been made by anyone else, and like forget Chat GPT, whatever AI algorithm, dude. There's some stuff that just like a human can make that like nothing is gonna be able to replicate like that. It's so weird. It's like just everybody's come from so many backgrounds and different experiences, and that's why like following different artists is so cool. If they've had different backgrounds, and some have had like crazy lives, some haven't, some have, it's just like the scope of everything that they've experienced is reflective of like their art and stuff, right? Like it's just wild to me. Like art is everything.
That is wonderfully worded, if I do say so myself. Rex, that's really all the questions I have for you. I've already showered you with a whole bunch of praise, but I want to shower you a little bit more because it's my podcast. I do what I want.
Okay.
Look,
Fair enough.
Like going into this interview or whatnot, it's not like I was a stranger to your stuff. I cannot tell you how much I love just all the different kinds of videos and all the different creative ways of just expressing your comedy. I just could not get enough of it, and I was like partially surprised but also grateful whenever you agreed to do this more than anything else. I'm always surprised, but still, regardless, especially getting the chance to really do some research on you and seeing more or less like the long path you more or less got taken to get here, and like the years of actually trying to get to this certain point to where you're able to do something fun, do something creative, and a lot of people love and recognize it and appreciate what you've been able to put out there. Like it made me give a whole new love and appreciation for the kind of art that you're putting out there. As simple as it may be to some people, of just like, again, a 10, 15, 20-second, flip note stick figure thing, like it honestly carries a lot more weight than a lot of people would recognize. And I appreciate you taking the time to do this and really having a blast with it, because I can certainly tell, especially with some of the humor of some of the episodes, some of the spontaneous moments that come with it. Like, it seems to me, at least from the surface, you're having an absolute blast, and especially the conversation we've been able to have today. I can tell that there's a lot of love that you put into this, and I cannot tell you how much of a fan I was before and how much more I'm going to be rooting for you every single step of the way for whatever may happen, whether you continue to do flip notes for 50 years or you transition to something else to where you get to be creative and express yourself. Like, I'm going to be rooting for you because I know whatever you're going to be putting out there is going to be truly genuine and truly quality at the end of the day. Thank you for what you do. Keep up the incredible work, because I want to see how far you can be able to go, not just with the flip note things, but just with the content creation stuff in general, because you absolutely deserve it.
Thank you so much, dude. You're so real for that. Heck yeah. I never know how to respond to like a lot of positive criticism, by the way. So if I'm just like, thanks, I am genuinely grateful. It's just like always a hard thing to respond to, but I appreciate that.
No, trust me, I wasn't taking it the wrong way if that's what you're thinking. Trust me.
No. You're fine. You're fine.
Now, people, for some reason, before this entire conversation, had no idea what the world we have been talking about, or have not seen any of this stuff, or have lived under a rock and not heard the phrase, let's go gambling. Where can people find your stuff?
You can find me. I'm raxdflipnote on like all these platforms. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Threads. Made a Blue Sky about a month ago. I'm using that now. I might have missed one. Twitter. Yeah, I think that's everything.
I'll say if you missed
and pseudo memo, but that's if you already have a 2DS or DSi or whatever.
There you go. I'll say if you missed any links, I'll be sure to have them in the description below. Though, you saying those links, it does remind me of one last question that we teased about earlier, but I never took the opportunity to ask. How dare I? Where exactly did the name raxd flipnote come from?
Okay, it's pretty simple. It's like I had a name on the internet for a while, which actually my old channel, tons of people are going to flock to my old channel because I'm saying this, but it was called Aurora XD.
Okay.
And it basically became a joke of like, I was just called Aurora on the gaming channel I was referring to earlier. I added XD to the end because I thought it'd be like a parody of like Disney XD or something, like the cheesy little like emoticon thing at the end. And then if you shorten the last four letters of Aurora XD is RAXD, which is Raxd, which for a while was my nickname in like these niche communities. I had a very small following, but a couple of the Discords I'm in, that just became my nickname. So it just felt natural to like when I was making this. And in fact, like in my later videos, I'd be referring to myself as Raxd or whatever. So when I made this channel, it just naturally felt like putting Raxd and then Flipnote after it. Like that's all I need to do. And I've had so many people call me raxdflipnote, raw Flipnote, Ray Flipnote, so many things. And like I don't expect people to get it right because like it's got so many layers to it. Honestly, with like the progression of my name. And by the way, Aurora, like going back, was just I put it into a name generator. I'm like, give me a gamer tag, and it was like Aurora was something at the end, and I was just like, I'll just go as Aurora. That's fine.
Hey, you know what? As many layers as it is, it's good to know that people at least finally settled on a name and consistently call you that. I say I know for me, like my name is Nathan, but I got a lot of people in the community that just call me Post. That's because like in most Discord calls,
There you go. It's like Post Malone.
Trust me, you keep that in mind because at one point I do want the Post X Post Modern Art podcast collaboration, like the two posts, double posts. Let's go with that.
There you go. It's got layers, dude.
It's got layers. Now I was gonna say
you're already ahead.
I was gonna say people call me Post because on Discord, my name is Postmod Art Pod or whatnot, and people just see the post. It's like, oh hey, it's Post. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Not the worst nickname I've had. I'll give it that much.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of origin stories for people. I've had friends that like had a really long username and it got just shortened because either like their name cut off. You'll eventually see ... on somebody's name, or just like first syllable is like your name. Yeah. And this is really as simple as that in a lot of cases.
Exactly. Do you have any final words before we sign off?
Let's go gambling. I feel like I'm a little like I have a bit of a stuffed up nose right now, so that was not my proudest gamblecore up line, but I tried.
Here, hold on. Here, I can get you covered. Let me get the soundboard up again.
Oh yeah, of course. I appreciate that.
Let's see where it's down there. There you go. Here you go.
Let's go gambling.
There you go.
Awesome. Yeah, totally just did that like perfect 1-to-1 with the bit crusher and everything.
Yeah, especially.
I actually just have to like swallow like a microchip, and then my voice sounds like that. By the way,
it's flawless. Oh, I love that every single time. but with that, all I've left to say is for the people at home, if you can, please pay your artists.
Yeah.
Tell me what's wrong, tell me sparks in motion. Sing me a song, tell me your eyes can all open. Show me it all, pick me up in the car you drove when you used to call. Show me it all.
Thank you so much for sticking around to the end. If this is your first time listening, I greatly do appreciate it. This conversation was a lot of fun to have, and it was really insightful more than anything else. Rax, if you've gotten up to this point, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. Genuinely, it's cool to really hear your story, and it's really cool to see how far you've been able to come along. I know when I was doing my research, but even more so whenever I was chatting with Rax throughout this conversation, one of the things that really hit me was just the amount of time he has really been spending trying to make this thing, trying to get there. The fact that he's been trying for, at this point, well over 10 years just to finally hit it, to get to that point to where he could be successful and practically live off of YouTube. It's something that, kind of hits me hard, especially as I'm trying to really make it out here in this wild and wacky world of content creation. Look, I won't lie. There are times where I get so easily discouraged just because of simple petty things like, oh, this episode didn't get enough views that I was hoping for. Nothing's really selling in the merch shop or XYZ, up, down, left, right, all that jazz. But at the end of the day, I gotta remember, I usually do remember, but I always remember that, the mentality of the views, the mentality of the money, that was never the intention of this podcast. That was never what I was striving for from day one. The thing that I always strive for was to give artists, I say this in the intro for a reason, is to give artists the platform that they deserve. Because there are so many incredible artists out there doing so many phenomenal stuff, and I am lucky to get an opportunity to even chat with them, let alone consider some of them my best friends. you know, the camaraderie and the community that I've been able to build ever since I really started this thing, it's worth more than however many views I get or however many subs that I get or however much money I'm able to bank off of it. I'm able to meet so many incredible people, get an opportunity to really understand people, really get to know where they're coming from, know their motivation, know what got them to this point, really go along that journey with them as they go back on it. It's a blessing more than anything else. And, you know, I might not be the guy that's going to get like 10 million subs on a podcast anytime within the next 5 to 10 years. But you know what? That was never the point. Now, don't get me wrong. I'd love to get there. I'd love to get the money. I'd love to be able to live off of this thing. but that was never the point. The point was to provide a platform to so many incredible artists, no matter how big or how small their following, and really let them express themselves. Really let them showcase what exactly got them to this point. Let them really talk about the things that they love and to share it to either the audience that they have but never realized, or to a new audience that may have never even heard about this stuff before. I'm hoping with episodes like this one, I get a chance to meet a bunch of people. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, once again, thank you for getting to this point. I sincerely hope that if you enjoyed this episode, you take the time to go back and you listen to so many other incredible episodes I've been able to have. With so many incredible people, whether they're some of the biggest names you may know, like a Maxwell Adams, Singer of Palo, The Odd Ones Out, Will Wood, Dubis Goobus, guys like that. Or artists that you may have never heard about before, like a Tay Draws, Christian Carrion, Tipsy J Hearts, Show Toozy. So many other fantastic, incredible, outstanding, stunning artists that really deserves their work to be showcased and loved and enjoyed. Because that's the goal of this podcast. And I sincerely hope that if today's episode was a good exhibition of that, you'll take the time to go through and not only see the other artists that I've been able to have on and see the love and the passion they have, but also give them that same love and support that you would give to Rax or give to any of the other guests that I've had on this podcast. They absolutely deserve it. They absolutely earned it. They're phenomenal artists, and they deserve that love.